O'clock exactly at the MJ Morning Show. And some folks were asking, hey, why weren't you live yesterday? Well, because I decided to take an extra day. Why? Because it's really that whole computer meltdown that screwed with many companies and airlines. And I thought everything was running well with Cayman Airways, and apparently they were, for the most part, doing okay, but I believe the plane that I was supposed to be on out of Tampa on Friday, the 19th of July, that flight, if I'm not mistaken, came from Cuba, then Miami, or something to that effect. One of the locations where that plane was located got messed up. So the airline itself apparently was not affected by that whole CrowdStrike computer meltdown. Man, I'll tell you, that still is a massive mess. And have you seen all the stories? Like Delta Airlines was really clocked hard by that damn thing.
You know who got away with it was Southwest. Did you hear about that? Because they hadn't done their update in so long.
Well, we were on the air that morning. Remember, were you here? Yeah.
Was I here?
Yeah, I was following like Southwest flight after Southwest flight that was taking off that morning. Right. I was looking at my Flight Radar 24 a couple of Fridays ago, and I was like, there goes Southwest. Up another side. There were like 5 Southwest flights in a row getting ready to take off.
Because they were operating off an older edition.
Yeah, but not all companies use CrowdStrike for their internet security. It turns out that apparently a lot of companies do, but there are other companies out there that provide internet security for their systems. So you're claiming that you read that Southwest does use CrowdStrike?
I did. Yeah, or no. Did they use what CrowdStrike? I don't know, but all I know is their version.
That's the whole point.
Let me read you what I read.
Either you're using CrowdStrike.
Are you on your man period already? Again, I'm glad you weren't when you were in the little Cayman because you would have been attacked by sharks.
No.
Oh my God!
What do you? No, you're claiming.
I'm just adding something to the story,
but you're just suggesting that Southwest is on CrowdStrike, but now you say you don't know if they were.
I never said I did that they were on CrowdStrike. I never said that.
You said they didn't do their update, insinuating that they are on CrowdStrike. The only thing that matters is only CrowdStrike customers were affected.
Southwest Airlines is on an older edition of software.
But
that is what I read.
But is it? But
I don't know.
This only has to do with CrowdStrike. So that's the question. Do they use...
Let me find the story that I read 5 days ago.
That is the only...
All right, so Southwest uses a different version of a Microsoft program.
That has been around for a long time. That has been known that Southwest's operating systems are some older editions. But
correct.
But we're talking about CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is
Let me pull up the exact verbiage of the story I read, because it's basically the company was saved by virtue of using an older system.
No, the company would be saved if they didn't use CrowdStrike. That's the only thing that is at play here is companies that were using CrowdStrike as their internet security coupled with Microsoft operating systems. So
I'm going to get to the bottom of this. The Roxanne research is on it.
Well, you're kind of doing the research after you said what you said. Because it's only CrowdStrike. Listen, I'm not trying to be argumentative here, but you made a claim.
That's what you do. You're argumentative.
I'm
that's
not.
Your gift.
You're throwing things out, and it's only CrowdStrike. You've kind of.
All right, back to your corner, both of you.
Yeah.
All right, back to your corner.
Welcome back.
I mean, both of us.
I missed
both
you.
of you guys are being mildly argumentative.
No.
But mildly.
I'm going to find the story I read, and it's very simple. It was the point of it was like it pays to not do your updates or it pays to be operating off the. This is what I read.
They apparently didn't use CrowdStrike. That is the only issue here. Is that CrowdStrike customers that had the firmware updated overnight, and if they were using that version or whatever, whatever CrowdStrike version was affected by their middle of the night update, their software update, those are the customers. Southwest's issue, they were not using CrowdStrike as their internet security, so they were using something else. So therefore, they were not affected. So don't.
Southwest Airlines was reportedly never affected by the outage, and has been able to fly its planes without issue, et cetera. Hold on, I'm on the article.
Yeah. They haven't updated their operating system in decades.
Right, but they're not a CrowdStrike customer. That's the only factor here. They were not using that particular company that had the problem.
Yeah,
that's it. The fact that Southwest uses an older software version
that's the portion
of
the
Microsoft
story
Windows.
I read. Yes.
Right. Yeah, but that's outside of CrowdStrike. We're only talking.
So it sounds like we're on the same page.
We're not on the same page. You're trying to make it fit the box now. It's not. We're not on. It's totally different.
Are you crazy? Did you get nitrous? What is it? Did you get the bends when you were down there?
No, you're just.
Yeah, you did get the bends. No, you did.
You're just.
I knew it because that explains your wacky post yesterday. You've lost your mind.
Flipping the script.
Nitrogen narcosis. You have it.
No, I do not. No, I don't.
You have it. You're suffering.
You're getting defensive and trying to repair the fact that you were going down the wrong hole.
I'll send you a dissertation on Southwest technological lack of technological.
There's only one thing you need to know. They were not on CrowdStrike. That's the only thing here. You brought it up. I'm just trying to correct your...
This radio station wasn't affected because we use, Microsoft 2?
I don't know what
we haven't updated our system here since Clinton was president.
I have no idea. Yeah, we're on Windows 98, Andrew says.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, so let me get back to where I started on this, was that I was not back yesterday. Well, because when I scuba dive, I never want to come back. I mean, when I go diving and I just enjoy myself, things start swirling in my head, and is it time for me just to enjoy diving and certain things full time? Those things swirl. But the reason why I was not back yesterday was because, as I started saying, Cayman Airways apparently was not on CrowdStrike, but some of the aircraft were coming from places where some of the airports and other systems were affected. So my flight leaving Tampa on Friday was about 3.5 hours late leaving, and that forced us to miss our connection from Grand Cayman to Little Cayman. And they can only land during daylight because that's a non-compliant, non-lighted runway. So we were not able to get on the last flight out, so we had to stay on Grand. So
they don't have lights on their runway?
No, they
couldn't get a couple of guys out there with tiki torches to get you in?
The little landing strip. No, the flight from Grand left on time.
Okay.
We just were not going to be there in time to catch that flight.
I got it.
Yeah. So that was the issue. So we had to stay the night on Grand.
All right, listen. She has a bee in her bonnet about this whole thing.
Hello?
She's coming around.
Right. Yes. That's
the headline.
No, it's you're trying to fit a box now.
All
No.
right.
Yes, Southwest is on an older Windows system, but they were not affected because they're not on CrowdStrike. If they were on CrowdStrike, even with their older system, they probably would have been screwed.
Right. What does the headline that I read say? A Windows version from 1992 is saving Southwest butt right now.
You're like trying to shove Chevy on me when we're talking about Fords. All right, it's a whole different thing. All right, so we missed our late flight into the last flight in, so we had to stay on Grand Cayman on Friday night.
Right.
And we had my group of guy friends. I went on a 3-guy trip diving. We had paid for our condo Friday night. So the management company, they moved us to Sunday night. They said, hey, listen, since you're not there Friday, we'll give you Sunday night.
It sounds fair.
So yeah, it was very nice of them.
Yeah.
So they let us just not use Friday night, and we used Sunday night. So we extended the trip by a day, and we flew in yesterday instead of coming in on Sunday. So that's why there was no live show yesterday, is what it comes down to. All right. Just getting rolling.
I never thought I'd be so happy for the crowd strike problem giving me an extra day off.
Look at that.
Thank you,
Look at
crowd strike.
Yeah, thank
Crowd
you.
strike gave you guys an extra day
Thank
off.
you.
Exactly. That's what it comes down to. All right, just getting rolling. It is a busy, busy Tuesday show. I got a lot to cram in, so you don't want to miss a minute. It is 6:10. Traffic is on. Pat's got the latest. We're back in minutes.
Well, we just found a problem thanks to one of our callers.
MJ Morning Show on Q105, 621, Tuesday morning. Feels like a Monday morning to me, but it's Tuesday morning for everybody else. Fester, may I ask what you did while we were on vacation? I mean, it's pretty obvious. I went scuba diving with a couple of pals down in Little Cayman. No Michelle. It's twice this year, and she won't let me forget. So
You're turning into Doug.
Well, I love the. Yeah, okay. I love this. Michelle encourages me. Oh yeah, go, yeah, but then she'll throw it in my face forever. So it's like, yeah, go on the trip, have a good time with your friends. I'm like, hey, listen, you can come along. No, just go. But
it's all right.
So Michelle encourages me to go on the trip, but then she'll never let me forget that I went on the trip. And actually, it's twice this year that I've vacationed without Michelle, because in late January and February, I went with Chloe to Indonesia. Chloe graduated college last December, and I went to Indonesia to Raja Ampat, one of my bucket list scuba diving destinations around the planet. And Chloe went with me on that. Michelle did not. So another one. Yeah, take Chloe. It'll be a great father-daughter trip. And then, of course, Michelle will never let me forget that I went on vacation twice this year without her.
And it's your anniversary year, your big anniversary year. You've got to take her somewhere special.
Now, our anniversary was back on June 26th, our 30th wedding anniversary. And I tried to get Michelle to, because also I've got a major, what is the word I'm looking for? I've got a major deficit in my typical summer vacation schedule. Because usually we take, listen, that's no secret. I have 6 weeks of vacation. After 30 years on the radio in Tampa Bay, I get 6 weeks of vacation. And I'd like 8 weeks of vacation next time around. But I get 6 weeks. But typically we take about almost half, a little over half of that time we take in the summertime. We usually take a couple of weeks off in typically on average late June, and then we take another 2 weeks off typically in late July or sometime in early August. And this year, it just didn't happen. And I tried to say to Michelle, hey, do you want to go back to where we honeymooned in Australia? And it's kind of a weird summer because of the kids' schedules. Chloe home. Chloe had an internship, turned into a full-time job because she applied for an opening for the next year plus till she goes to law school. And then Julian is like in and out of some summer programs. So it was kind of a weird summer. And that's what Michelle said to me. She said, it's kind of a strange summer for vacation. So, that's where it is. But I've only taken 1 week this summer.
Yes.
That's you're like whispering to yourself over there.
I'm agreeing with you.
You're having a conversation with yourself. You're mumbling under your breath.
I'm mumbling a here or a harump. Yes, 1 week. Yes. It's all. Everything you've said is factual. That is correct. Yes. And I'm glad you had a good time hanging out with fish and other men for the last week.
Did you see any of the videos I posted? I posted a couple.
I successfully avoided almost all social media during the entire break.
Oh, good for you.
Why was that? Does it raise your stress level and your blood pressure?
Because I don't care about social media. I mean, you guys can post your stuff. I know. I mean, that's it. Unless it popped up accidentally. I think one time I went on Facebook and I saw a picture of some guy hanging out.
I've made it abundantly clear that if I did not do this radio show, I would not have social media.
Yeah,
I think social media is the frickin' devil.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think social media overall sucks. I think social media is an absolute net negative for society.
You know what I saw on social media this morning? That they're rolling out something on IG where you can turn yourself into a robot, an AI version of yourself to communicate with more of your listeners. But aren't we already not real versions of ourselves?
Can you send me that? I want to see that.
I will.
I want to be an AI version.
Not quite understanding that. But if I did not do this radio show, I would not be on social media. I use social media to extend the show, to promote the program. But I'm going to tell you right now, if I didn't do this for a living, I would be happy to be devoid of social media in my life.
I also have the benefit of about 25,000 listeners having my cell phone number.
That's true.
So anytime something of consequence pops up on social media, I get text after text
You
after
get a
text
text alert.
after text after text. Yesterday was a busy day. This is a busy weekend overall. But otherwise, I didn't open up Instagram one time. I don't think I opened up Facebook. I didn't post anything on my account. Nothing. It didn't feel like it meant anything to me while I wasn't at least here at work.
We'll get into this later on, but is anybody really caring about the Olympics?
My kids are. They love it. And you know what I
Yeah.
realize? It is a good thing for your children to like be introduced to all these different kinds of sports, and they're like all Team USA, and they're getting their pride in their country and watching the gymnastics. So they love it. So it's kind of like reinvigorating me because I haven't been into it as much.
Yeah, you know,
Last time?
I obviously support Team USA. I obviously am happy when I hear of a gold medal win or any medal win. But listen, any athlete, you get the bronze, they're excited. Hey, listen, at least you're up on the platform. You medaled, but when you're holding the bronze, you're like, damn, man, I wish I would have won the gold. Or, if you're the silver, everyone strives for the gold, obviously. But the point I'm trying to make is that I saw the tourism was like way down in Paris. There are a lot of issues. The train system was sabotaged on the day of the Olympics opening
ceremony.
Yeah.
People are standing there in the station.
It was pouring rain during the opening ceremony. Celine Dion got electrocuted.
Poor Celine.
Yeah, I mean, she was singing and she touched with all the rain. She touched a wire and it cured her stiff body syndrome though.
I was just thinking, yeah, she made it back from stiff person syndrome only to get electrocuted.
All right, no,
Wow.
I'm kidding around. So, listen, I feel bad for Celine Dion, and I saw an excerpt from that documentary where she's just in agonizing pain. It's awful. I really no kidding here. I really feel bad for Celine Dion, and I did see an excerpt of her triumphant return singing during the opening ceremonies. But listen, they had controversy during the whole Last Supper thing was a big controversy.
They had to apologize for that.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems that these Olympics don't quite have the same excitement level. Is that fair to say?
Well,
I don't.
Here's my issue.
Yeah.
The Olympics organization is such a corrupt body that I could care less about the action. I root for our country, our team.
That's what I'm saying. I'm happy. I'm happy to hear about our winnings.
But I'll never spend any money on like Olympic merch that goes to the federation or the organization because it's a corrupt organization.
And then some of the swimming events are supposed to be in the Seine, in the river, and they try to say that it was clean and the water quality been improved. But then I saw something in the news yesterday that it's like a fecal bacteria mess because of some heavy rain and runoff contaminated. I think the mayor of Paris actually swam in the river to prove that it was clean. Tell you what, why don't you drink a glass full of that?
Big glass.
Like Erin Brockovich. Remember like the tainted water supply? Didn't she try to
drink the coffee, Ed?
Did she try to get
they went to somebody's house and they offered Erin and Ed a cup of coffee.
Was that what?
And Ed's like, no, I'm not drinking. No way. I'm not drinking. And Erin's like, drink the damn coffee, Ed.
Tell you what, I want to see the Paris mayor drink a cup full of Seine river water is what I want to see. Anyway, the point is, it just seems that the interest level in the Olympics this year is not quite up to par on where it had been previously. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you know who's having a great time and who would disagree with us on that is Snoop Dogg. He loves the Olympics.
Yeah, why the hell is he ever? Oh, wasn't he?
He was commentating badminton.
No, we had a story before we went on vacation. Oh, that was Flava Flav. I'm sorry. All right, Flava Flav is like the ambassador. He's the hype man for. Well, Andrew, do you remember? Andrew, do you remember what it was? Was it water polo? Are you on the air speaking?
No, he's not.
Yeah. What? Do me a favor. Speak on the air.
I think it was women's water polo, wasn't it?
Maybe it was.
I think
know
you're
that
right.
Before we went on vacation, we had a story about Flava Flav, the guy with the big clock around his neck, that he was the hype man for one of the Olympic teams. I think it might be water polo, whatever. And now Snoop Dogg is everywhere. Why?
I don't know.
I mean, the guy is perpetually stoned. Is that the image you want?
He really likes the Olympics.
He likes whatever gets his face on TV.
Did he get stopped by customs? Do you think
Yeah,
do you think when he flew into Paris, do you think at the Charles de Gaulle airport, did they pull him aside and search his luggage to see if he came in with Ziploc bags filled with marijuana? You think?
I'm sure he's a card-carrying member.
All right. 6:32 at the MJ Morning Show. Early morons in the news, and a very tasty pile rolls next. Hey, I want to talk about my good friends over at Profusion. right, here we go, 6:41. Are you ready for a neighbor from hell story? I think we all love a good neighbor from hell story, unless that neighbor from hell is screwing up our lives, right?
Yeah, we don't want one next to us.
Let's go to Longwood. Longwood. You know where Longwood is, right?
I do not.
Come on, Longwood is right off of I-4, a little northeast of Orlando. That's where Longwood is.
Okay.
Longwood.
See, I was going to guess California, so I was way off.
Longwood is very near and dear to my heart. You know what? Hang on a sec. Michelle's texting me, so she's up. Let me call Michelle quickly and see if Michelle remembers the significance of Longwood in our relationship, because I certainly do.
Either something very beautiful happened or very awful happened in Longwood.
Are you listening to the show right now?
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
What? Hello.
I know you're texting me, so I know you're listening.
Well, be ready to speak when I answer the phone.
I,
Called me. What?
I am speaking.
Hurry up. Go.
Why is Longwood, Florida, significant in our relationship?
I have no idea.
Oh, come on.
Is it because that was your nickname in high school?
I have no idea what you're even talking about.
I have a story about a neighbor from hell in Longwood, Florida, just northeast of Orlando, just off of I-4. And Longwood has been indelibly marked in my brain because of something in our relationship. You don't know?
Nope. Are you confused?
I'm not confused.
All right. Well,
Are you ready for me to refresh your memory?
sure.
You were in Longwood.
That's the refresher.
You were in Longwood
Yeah.
early in our marriage.
Yeah.
Why?
Uh,
Well, you drove there.
Okay.
I mean, did you buy
I
something
drive
off?
lots of places.
Why in the first months of our marriage would you get in the car and drive north and be in Longwood, Florida,
I don't know. You tell me.
where I convinced you to turn around?
Did you threaten to leave him and you made it as far as
Oh.
Longwood?
You didn't convince me to turn around.
She,
Your parents convinced me to turn around.
you,
Oh my God.
You were walking out, Michelle,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
made it as far as Longwood?
Yeah.
I did. I made it all the way there to a Red Roof Inn.
Oh,
It
my
was
gosh.
the only place that would take me because I had a dog.
Oh, here we go. Look, the memories are coming streaming back.
Well,
It's
I
like,
was Longwood. If you said, Michelle, why were you in a Red Roof Inn in 1995? I'd be like, oh yeah, because I took Scooby and ran.
I think it was 90. I think it was late 94, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was late. We'd only been married. We got married on June 26th of 1994. And do you remember what precipitated you getting in your Saturn? What was that? A Saturn SL2, whatever that was?
Yeah.
A blue Saturn SL2. What possessed you to get in your? Do you remember what caused? Did we argue? Why did you get?
Obviously, we were arguing about something, and I just was like, done, over, goodbye.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Were you guys arguing over the way he pronounces K-man?
Please stop it,
Perhaps.
Because I want to leave every time I hear it, too.
Michelle.
I don't think he was aware of K-Man at that time.
You
And
usually.
we didn't even have cell phones then, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's really-
95, 94, no
Yeah,
cell
no.
phones.
I think you had a cell phone.
I did. I had a
but
cell phone.
I didn't have
Yeah.
a cell
You probably
phone.
had it in your car and you had the big antenna on the back.
I did. Well, I didn't have an antenna then, but no, I had a Nokia car phone, the one that was like screwed into the hump in the middle of the car.
and had an actual curly cord.
Oh, it
curly
did.
Q cord.
It had a handset and the antenna on the little curly Q antenna on the back window. I had that in 1988. I had that installed in Virginia Beach before I even left for Los Angeles. I had a car phone. I remember it was a Nokia, and that's when cell bills used to be like $1,000 a month because they used to bill you by the minute. You make a local call, you were billed like $1 a minute, whatever it was. So anyway, Michelle, we had an argument over something. You get
Yes.
in your car, you pack up your crap, you took our dog,
Yep.
our Jack Russell Terrier Scooby at the time, and you got in your car and you drove. You were driving back to Virginia Beach.
Yes.
And hold on, you have a mind like a trap, and you do not remember exactly what we were arguing over.
I do not remember what we were arguing over, but also I don't remember that it was Longwood. See, if you'd have said Red Roof Inn,
Yeah.
that would have been like a clue, but Longwood is like a bizarre clue.
That's
So,
a footnote detail. That's not a
Yeah,
primary
exactly.
detail.
What do you mean
You know,
that
at the back of the page, not at the back of the report, Fester, not the bottom.
what do you mean that my parents convinced you to turn around and come back to Tampa?
Oh, it was your parents. It wasn't you.
Why were my parents in contact with you if you didn't have a cell
You
phone?
told them, and then you told them where I was, and they called me at the hotel. And I just remember your mom saying, Michelle, you have to turn around and go back, Michelle.
That's the
And then
convincing.
your dad talked to me about your dad talked to me for a while, and then your mom talked to me and convinced me to turn around.
And you have
He
no
doesn't
idea
mean
what
it. He whatever, something.
you have no idea what caused this argument?
No, I'll you know what? I'll just try to remember it all day long.
And can I point out that that's the last time that Michelle packed the car and drove away from me?
Yeah.
And here we are 30 years later
Yeah.
Yeah.
after an initial rocky start. And
Should have
Michelle,
kept running.
Michelle, what did you say?
I'm just kidding.
You said
I'm teasing.
You
I'm
said she should have
teasing.
kept running?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Michelle figured out the long game would work out better for her.
Oh, man. So whenever I hear Longwood, Florida, hi, Michelle.
Why is that your frame of reference for that event? I don't even understand.
I don't know, because whenever I hear about Longwood, I think about you fleeing me just
Oh, my
months
God.
into our marriage, and then you driving hours away.
Bizarre connections in your brain.
All right, goodbye. I got to do
Bye.
my moron story. Goodbye, bye. All right.
She's about to walk out right now.
Hey, so why am I bringing up Longwood? This is a neighbor from hell. A neighborhood in Longwood has been struggling for months because a local woman poured concrete into a drain pipe on her property and it's flooding the whole neighborhood. Yeah. That drain pipe was the only functional pipe for the Shadow Bay community, meaning that nearby roadways have been flooded as storms pass through the area. We've had a lot of rain. The issue's ongoing, though the county has taken steps to fix the problem. Yeah, get a jackhammer in there and unclog or lay new drain in.
Did she do it deliberately?
Yeah. The woman sent letters out to neighbors in the community warning them that she intended to close off a drain pipe on her property.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
right?
please be advised that I reside at the address in Shadow Bay. I am downgrade from all of you in your residential community. So downgrade, I'm downgrade. So downgrade. At some point in the past, the drain pipe was installed in my property without my permission. It drains the road in front of me and also a number of upgraded houses to whom I'm sending a copy of the letter. I advise you this because once I close off that drain pipe, you will have a drain problem that will back up on the road and on your property and potentially on my property because the drain, as I said, goes through my property without my permission or my authority. So...
I don't know if that's how civic government works, right? They can put a drain
My
in your
God.
yard.
Well, you've got right of ways.
yeah.
You've got
I mean, it's not in the middle of her yard. It's at the street line.
Yeah.
I mean, this is nuts. So, according to the neighbors, the woman poured concrete into the drain pipe on her property, causing it to clog. Neighbors added that the officials with the county came out and took pictures of the woman doing so. They told her there was nothing that they could do to stop the concrete from being poured. Because of the easement is on the woman's property, the county and legal HOA didn't have the authority to prevent it from happening or remove the cement blockage. I mean, this is just nuts. I mean, this has been going on all summer long. They're trying to figure out the city, the county, trying to figure out, how to remedy the problem. But what did the lady care if there was a drain pipe? I don't think it was visible. I think it was underground. And she decides, I don't want the pipe. I'm just going to pour concrete in it and block it off and just totally wreck the roads.
A couple of houses down from my street, we have that, just a drain where everything runs into.
right.
And when the neighbor moved in, they lost the lid to their garbage can.
Yeah.
And it got caught in the drain.
Oh, but did it block it up?
And it blocked it.
Oh.
And the whole street flooded. And I thought it was awesome, but everybody else is freaking out. And the county came and pulled out her garbage thing. As soon as you block those things, your street floods within a matter of minutes in a heavy rainstorm.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks back, we had the most rain I've ever seen. I've been in my neighborhood since summer of '05. So, almost, 18 years. 2-3 weeks ago, we had the most rain I've ever seen in an hour and a half period in South Tampa. It was in Beach Park. Absolutely out of control. Must have been 5 inches of rain in an hour and a half. All right, 6:52 at the MJ Morning Show. A little early dose of early morons in the news. And drumming up the time that Michelle almost left me.
Good times. Fun memories.
From
Made it
1994. 6:52 at the MJ Morning Show. 7 o'clock hour, which includes our hour and 20 minutes of nonstop. MJ starts in minutes here on Q105, so stand by. Your little site, all the artwork is still. That's really troubled me. I'm still really aggravated and pissed off the way that whole thing went down, and I'm not going to forget that. That really is really aggravated me.
With you 100%.
7:01 at the MJ Morning Show. So I didn't get to all my early morons in the news. Don't forget, we start an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ in just a matter of moments. Right around 7:25 every single morning, we go for an hour and 20 minutes nonstop. So no commercials, no music. It's nonstop MJ Morning Show. So stand by. That happens in just a bit. So some additional morons I didn't get to. Gotta love this. Guitar Center employees working on an amplifier, a guitar amp, found thousands of dollars in drugs stuffed inside a guitar amp. Man.
What? They didn't keep it?
Oh, man, listen to this. This is out of Georgia, so Gwinnett County. That's, the Atlanta area. Police are on the lookout for who's behind hiding thousands of dollars worth of drugs inside a guitar amplifier and then shipping it to a local business.
Number one rule for hiding drugs.
Yep.
Don't hide drugs while you're on drugs. Because you won't remember where you put them.
This is nuts. The box had an out-of-state shipping address, was returned to the Guitar Center. Employees opened the box and found cocaine and methamphetamine stuffed inside the amplifier. So they get the amp. Something tipped them off. So they're working on this return. It's like, why is somebody shipping this amplifier to us? Maybe it's somebody bought it. They're trying to return. I don't know.
They bought it and returned it, but in the time they owned it, they stuffed their drugs in it.
According to the Gwinnett County Police up in Georgia, it's extremely rare that this happens at any business. Oh, really?
Thank you, officer.
Thank you, Officer Friendly. Police believe the incident is part of a larger problem involving the shipping of drugs through the U.S. mail, that investigators think drug dealers have attempted this method before. But why would the amplifier be shipped to a Guitar Center?
Dude, the wrong person opened it. It was Cody's day off.
Oh.
You know, I mean, it was
hold on. Hold on. This is interesting. So you think that the drugs were being shipped to an employee?
Maybe.
That was the mule, or that was the recipient, the facilitator?
If it's that much drugs. And first of all, I don't know that I've ever been to a Guitar Center where I didn't think the guy was high in the first place.
When was the last time you were even... Dude, you've never been in a Guitar Center.
Dude, I go to the Guitar Center. There's one on Hillsborough Avenue.
Duh.
Yeah.
But
I go there about once a year.
For what?
I let my kids hit the drums.
You take it.
Yeah.
Oh,
They have like the
wait a minute.
percussion room.
Hang on. It's another edition of Fester's Freeloader Family Entertainment.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
your idea of music lessons, right?
Well, no,
Kids, it's time for your music lesson.
Yeah, they have like the whole percussion room and all the keyboards out there and all the different rooms with the different things.
Dude,
I let them run wild.
If it's not going to a Disney area resort,
That's what we did on vacation.
and pretending to be a guest to use their facilities for free, if it's not you going to a local midline motel or hotel to get the free continental breakfast.
I don't know that the Homewood Suites is midline, by the way.
You're taking
Oh, it is.
you're taking your kids to Guitar Center to. That's an afternoon of entertainment, is to
Yeah.
let them bang on the drums.
It's more of a weekday evening activity because it's never too busy. I mean, how many people are at Guitar Center at like 6:30 on a Wednesday?
You know what? You need to put together Fester's list of free family entertainment.
You go to Guitar Center and you just let them go.
Just let them tear the place
Yeah,
up.
and that's it. Then they're going to be like in high school, and they're going to drive by and go, "Oh, that's where my dad used to take us for our drum lessons."
Let them rip the freaking place up, banging on the keyboards.
Yeah,
Putting drumsticks through the drum pads.
sit behind the drum sets and play it out. The people there don't
Are they
care.
wrecking the place?
No, they're not trashing the place, but they're playing it pretty hard. It's like Chuck E.
Playing
Cheese
hard.
with instruments. That's what it is. It's Chuck E. Cheese
With
with
instruments.
instrument. I bit my tongue.
Anyway,
But yeah, it's
so-
Chuck E. Cheese with instruments.
All right, so back over to the Guitar Center amplifier filled with drugs. According to police up in Georgia, they will often try to make the box appear as real as possible.
Yeah.
They'll attach business logos or business return addresses on the box. So was the return address a Guitar Center? Is that why they got the amp? That it was going to a different address and it was undeliverable? And the amp was returned. I don't have all the information that I think we need in this story. The box had an out-of-state shipping address, but was returned to the Guitar Center. You know what? That's what it was. All right, so I guess it is a little more clear here now that I have the context. So it had a shipping address. Something happened that it was not deliverable. So the return address was a Guitar Center. So that's the way they were muling these drugs. They were packing the drugs in the amplifier, shipping it somewhere, but making it seem like it came from the Guitar Center. The Guitar Center somehow had the package returned. They never, so it's not Julio that was off that day.
Yeah, okay.
That was receiving the package.
Fine.
No, it just, they tried to use this package as a drug delivery vehicle, and the return address was Guitar Center in Georgia, and the thing gets returned there because of obviously delivery problems for the addressee. Then they open the box up and they realize the amplifier is packed with thousands and thousands of dollars in drugs. Man, the different angles, we've heard, and we've talked about this. People, unsuspecting folks that suddenly have like a SWAT team descend on their house.
Yeah.
Because a package of drugs is being delivered to a random address. Joey and Betty Jones suddenly have a package that has been sniffed out as containing cocaine, fentanyl, whatever, and they have a cop dressed in like a UPS outfit or a FedEx uniform delivering the package, but it's not Joe and Betty's drugs. Some people, they'll ship drugs to an address and then have the person that's picking up the drugs just wait, knowing that what the delivery date is or the time frame, to then pick up the package off the porch. So they're not tied to the drug delivery. So that's happened. There have been numerous stories where unwittingly, unsuspecting, innocent individuals are suddenly wrapped up in a drug sting. You know, they eventually sort it out that they have nothing to do with the drug delivery.
Yeah, but for a couple of hours, they're screwed.
Oh man, it's hell on earth. In some, they got SWAT team, guns in their faces and everything. But that's happened numerous times that we've talked about those stories. So that's crazy. Last year, a specialized unit, this is up near near Atlanta, Gwinnett Police intercepted 4,500 pounds worth of drugs being shipped through FedEx and UPS. And a lot of people don't realize this, but the feds as well as local law enforcement, it is not uncommon for them to run dogs, drug sniffing dogs, through the sorting facilities for FedEx and UPS. Right. They'll run them through some of the hubs, and they'll do it randomly. They'll do it at local operations. I'd love to know, for instance, FedEx. FedEx, you have the big sorting facility. Is that Waters?
Anderson and Waters, kind of?
Yeah.
Yes.
So near Waters, right? Yeah. You've got that big FedEx facility back in there. So, the stuff comes off the airplanes at Tampa International, and then, you got UPS ground as well. So you've got the express stuff, you got the ground stuff. So I think you must have different sorting facilities for express versus FedEx ground. But I would love to know how often. Hey, listen, maybe someone's listening. Maybe, are you a UPS or a FedEx worker locally? And you don't have to say who you are. You can remain anonymous. When's the last time that drug-sniffing dogs from law enforcement have been in the facility, just sniffing out packages to see if they can hit on a shipment of fentanyl, cocaine, heroin, marijuana, whatever? If anyone is listening with UPS or FedEx, how often have you seen the drug-sniffing dogs, either local law enforcement or the feds, run through the facilities just kind of randomly sniffing packages? 800-990-1047. Yeah, if you work for FedEx or UPS, I would love to know. And I'm kind of stabbing in the dark here, but a lot of times we'll ask for stuff and people will call up. You can remain anonymous. You don't have to say your name if you don't want to. But I'm just curious, how often are those drug-sniffing dogs going through the package sorting facilities or sniffing out trucks getting ready to hit the road? 800-990-1047 if you want to give us some insights and intel. Again, anonymously if you want. Simple as that. 800-990-1047. I don't know if we'll get any calls on this, but hey, you never know. 800-990-1047.
When the dogs come to the facility, do they shut down the main line, or does the dog have to hop on the conveyor belt and chase down the package?
Good question.
Yeah.
I think they just let him go to town.
I mean, I would just set the dog loose.
And just out of curiosity, do the dogs go crazy with packages from Petco and Chewy?
Yeah. They can't pass those up.
What if there are some dog treats in the package?
A big case of bacon strips or something. Bacon! The dog would go nuts.
Andrew's going through some calls now. Let me know if you have any folks that buzz in. Again, I guess I don't expect to. I mean, it's kind of a needle in a haystack.
That's a niche. Yeah.
It's kind of a niche item. Yeah. Do you work for FedEx or UPS? How often do the drug sniffing dogs come through and sniff packages?
I mean, even Amazon.
And then how often do they alert? How often do they hit on What do you mean Amazon?
Yeah, now that I think about it, it was really a dumb sentence.
Why
well, Amazon's from business to end receiver.
No. Amazon is shipping the package to the end receiver.
Right. It's not person to person.
Yeah. UPS or FedEx, you have individuals that are shipping packages. You know, as well as companies and businesses.
It was very dumb of me to say.
Yeah, that was Amazon has nothing to do with it.
Real idiot response. My apologies.
No, unless hang on, let me un-idiot you for just 2 seconds here.
Right.
Unless you have somebody in the Amazon facility, that would be logistically difficult.
Yeah, boy.
Where you somebody places an order for an item, and then the employee at Amazon gets the drugs in their shipment. That would be logistically very, very. I'm trying to un-idiot you here, but it's not working very well.
I've idioted up myself pretty well, right. And there's no getting out of it.
I guess we're not going to get any calls. Andrew got it. What were the people calling for? What were they?
No, there was people were calling but not hanging on when I answered.
Oh, okay, all right. 7:13, rolling up on 7:14 at the MJ Morning Show. Folks, we'll start an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ next. Uninterrupted 1 hour, 20 minutes, nonstop MJ in minutes. We got to talk a couple of air travel things. Summer vacation is still in effect. A couple of air travel issues. Did you see the puking flight crew story? What is going on? And also, update on Julio Foolio. And you heard about the Hillsborough County School Board resolution, right? Hang folks, we've got some big news coming up. All right, there is a lot of stuff. Also, Roxanne, I asked you to do something a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And I think we got snaked.
Did we?
Yeah, we got snaked. Yeah, I think we planted the seed, and I got to follow up on something with you.
Okay.
And I don't want you to take offense.
You're thinking I snaked you?
No. Hang on.
Or we as collectively got snaked.
I'm just going to deliver the sentence right here. We got snaked. All right?
Uh-oh.
Why? How? And that's just scratching the surface. We're loaded next, folks. Don't move. Back in minutes here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. First. MJ Morning Show, Q105. MJ, Fester, Roxanne, Andrew, the producer. And yes, we're back live today. For those that were wondering why we weren't here yesterday, I took an extra day. We got my little group did some scuba diving with some buddies. Went down to Little Cayman, and yes, it is pronounced Grand Cayman, Little Cayman. Now, Americanized, we say Grand Cayman.
Yeah, welcome to America. Just stop. Welcome to America.
But, I mean,
Well, America.
the locals,
Who cares?
Caymanians, they say Cayman.
Yeah, and people in Kansas say Colorado instead of Colorado.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No,
Yeah,
they
but still,
don't.
that's not the point.
Pulling crap out of you.
Colorado.
Anyway, so we are live today. We were not here yesterday because we were, my group, we were a day late getting to our final destination. We had to spend Friday the 19th on Grand Cayman because we missed our connecting flight.
I'm sure all the residents of Cayman appreciate you pronouncing it correctly right now.
You know what? They send me letters of appreciation. No, so we got messed up in that whole CrowdStrike airline deal, and we left Tampa 3.5 hours late on Friday the 19th. So we had to stay the night on Grand Cayman, and we lost our condo booking Friday night. And they were kind enough to say, all right, you're not there Friday night. We'll give you the last Sunday night. We'll just move it, and we just extended the trip. So we stayed an extra day, so we didn't lose our condo booking. They just gave us the Sunday at the end of the trip. So that's the story. That's why we were not here yesterday. Middle of the summer, kids aren't going back to school for another couple of weeks. What the heck? All right, Roxanne. Oh, and by the way, there are some really cool videos on my Instagram. A lot of people have viewed them. A lot of people have commented, oh, love the videos. I didn't whack you over the head with them. I put up a couple. There's a really cool, very close encounter with a Caribbean reef shark comes kind of right at me and then turns. So that video's up there. There are 2 spotted eagle rays on the top of the wall that just swim by. 2 spotted eagle rays right next to each other, just majestically. There's a phenomenal turtle under a ledge that swims out. I still have first time ever. I've been diving Little Cayman for over 24 years, maybe. And this trip saw my first hammerhead ever there. I've seen hammerheads before, but I never saw a hammerhead shark in Little Cayman. And we did. I haven't posted that video yet. I'll do it sometime this week. But some cool underwater videos. Folks, I'm passionate about scuba diving. If you want to get let me take a second here. If you have always thought about getting scuba certified and you just haven't done it, if you'd like a hot tip, if you'd like me to hook you up with a great instructor at a great shop, I'm a big fan of Tackle Shack. I've had a great relationship with Tackle Shack in Pinellas Park. I did commercials for them back in 1997 for their sidewalk sale. That's how I first started the relationship with them.
It's a long relationship.
When we were at the other radio station, I did commercials for the Tackle Shack sidewalk sale, and I've had a great relationship with them ever since. And folks, I'll be happy to introduce you to one of their top instructors. If you've ever thought about scuba diving, it is a passion for me. It is so relaxing. It's one of the greatest pleasures on the planet for me is going to some of these cool destinations and scuba diving. If you've ever thought about it, send me an email. I'm happy to answer all of your questions. I'm happy to make a personal introduction if you'd like to get certified to scuba dive. Just send me an email. MJ@MJMorningshow.com. That's MJ at MJMorningshow.com.
Speaking of fish.
Yes.
Last Monday, 1 week ago today.
Yes.
I enjoyed the big fish sandwich at Burger King. And it's really good. Don't sleep on it. If anybody out there would like to get the Burger King Big Fish Sandwich, or you'd like a reference on a place to get one, email me. Just send me a text, 813-310-8444.
Festival will tell you where Burger King is so you can get the Big Fish Sandwich.
I will make the introduction. Just like MJ will for you in scuba diving, I will introduce you to my kind of...
That's right. You do know a Burger King manager.
I do. I know several.
That's right.
I know several.
You know 2 Burger King managers.
You've got the hookup.
Yeah, I do. I know people. I have people.
Speaking of delicious fish.
I'm looking at fish, and you're just talking about eating fish. Okay,
You're just
great.
looking at them.
Well, that grouper that you posted looked delicious. That's why I hearted it, because I was like, I want to eat that.
Oh, did you see that grouper?
I
Oh, I
did.
forgot about that. There's a grouper, a big, huge Nassau grouper under a ledge. And it's just kind of, I'm right in his face. I'm 2 inches away, and he's just looking right at me. So anyway, all of these cool underwater videos, sharks and turtles and spotted eagle rays and the grouper that Roxanne likes, the videos are on my Instagram at Certified MJ Radio, my last 9 days of diving in Little Cayman. So go to my Instagram, Certified MJ Radio. Also, give me a follow. If you don't follow me on Instagram, give me a follow at Certified MJ Radio.
Hey, before you get to the how we got snaked or tricked or whatever.
And you're a big part of this.
Yeah,
by
I want
the
to hear
way.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm very interested.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, while you guys were busy with your fish,
Yeah.
I was busy with cats. My daughter had her
Are
performance.
you one of
with
those
ovations.
miserable, unhappy cat ladies?
Not yet, but
No,
she's on the way.
no,
She's on the way.
No, I wish. No, that's it. I mean,
No, her daughter had the Cats performance.
my daughter had
this
the
weekend.
Cats performance.
That's right.
Oh.
Her daughter was in like the 6-year-old version of Cats.
Yeah, and
called Kittens.
it was so good. I've seen Cats on Broadway. When I was a kid, I saw that was the first Broadway show I saw, and to see this production by Ovation Dance Academy,
Right.
it was remarkable. Now, my daughter wasn't Grisabella, the glamour cat. She wasn't like the lead singing Memories. She was just one of the little kittens.
Was this like a little community theater thing, or where was the Where was the stage?
The venue, Dunedin High School.
Oh, really?
And they had 2 performances.
And they filled the place with cat pee smell, right?
Yes.
the cats were in the audience.
They really
Yep.
made it authentic. So they had cats spray cat urine, and everyone knows that the smell of cat urine is so pleasing.
Yes.
Yeah, you would. As we walked in, there were just like fur balls. You had to you slipped. I slip on a fur ball. No, they made it very authentic, just like the Broadway play. It was so impressive, and it's fun because my daughter found her people. You know, her theater people. Like that's her happy place.
That's her group. That's
her
awesome.
crew.
All right, now, Roxanne,
Yes, Roxanne.
what do you?
I'm like your hype man.
Oh, you're my hype.
I know. I don't think I have anything to do with it, so I'm just like,
All right.
yeah.
All right, Roxanne, I gave you an assignment.
I probably didn't fulfill it.
Couple
Did I drop the ball? I don't follow up on the assignment so well.
I gave you an assignment a couple of months ago. Do you even recall what assignment I gave you?
The one assignment that comes to mind is the sending a letter to Tiger King.
Yeah, to Joe Exotic.
Yes.
This is months ago.
Yes.
And you were going to track down, was it Joe Maldonado? Is that his real name?
Joe Maldonado Passage or something like that.
Yeah, so Joe Maldonado, the Tiger King, Joe Exotic. And a couple of months back, I said to Roxanne, you know what? He's happy to do interviews. He's got time on his hands. He's in federal prison. You know, he was in like a county lockup up in the Panhandle, but then they moved him to federal prison. And I said to Roxanne, get a hold of Joe Exotic. He does interviews. He'll be happy to come on the radio with us and speak to us, especially with Carol Baskins right here in town, you know, right up the Veterans Expressway near Citrus Park Mall. And I gave Roxanne the assignment to get a hold of Joe Exotic. And I think you even sent me a draft of the letter that you were sending him.
We read it on air.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. Can you tell me the status of that?
I don't know. Dig around in my bag and see if you see the letter anywhere. I think I sent it, but maybe not. I have no idea.
Okay.
Why am I supposed to keep track of these things?
Wait a minute.
Wasn't that the fun of it? I was just going to read the letter, the ridiculous letter on there.
Let me tell you why. Because Jeff Patterson, the longtime reporter on Channel 8, just did an interview with Joe Exotic. And I'm
Aw.
telling you right now, he probably got the idea from us or one of the assignment editors at Channel 8 or somebody at Channel 8 said, hey, I heard MJ and the crew on the MJ Morning Show talking about getting Joe Exotic on with an interview. And I just find it a little suspect that Jeff Patterson from Channel 8 just interviewed Joe Exotic, a jailhouse interview.
Jeff probably plagiarized my letter, too, to get his attention.
But, Roxanne, you don't even know if you sent the damn letter?
Of course I sent it.
So did you ever get a response?
No.
So why is it that Jeff Patterson obviously got a response?
Well, because he's a pro.
Yeah.
I
mean, you didn't ask Jeff Patterson to track him down. You asked me.
I gave you an assignment. I gave you a simple assignment. Please, make contact with Joe Exotic. Let's get him on.
Nobody cares
He's done tons of radio and television interviews. If you ask him to do an interview, he'll do an interview.
Okay, I hate to deflect, but no one is waiting with bated breath to hear whether or not the letter was received by Joe Exotic. They want to hear about what you were doing on IG yesterday. Are we going to get to that?
All right, no, we're not. Stop deflecting. So, did you send the letter?
Yes, I did send the letter.
So, why didn't you hear it back?
I don't know. Maybe he changed prisons. He was all bouncing around.
Remember, he was in the Panhandle here in Florida, but then they moved him, I think, to a Texas facility.
Now, I remember Roxanne calling the jail that he's at in the Panhandle, and they said he is not at this location. He's been moved back to his
to a federal facility.
Yes. I believe in Dallas, I think.
I believe it's in Texas.
In Texas.
I remember Roxanne telling us that.
Did you get the Texas address and mail it to the federal corrections facility in Texas?
That is the address I found and used. Yes.
So apparently, he's back in Florida.
So now he's back in Florida?
That's probably what happened.
Hang on. So
there you go.
Hey, Andrew, did you pull some of the Jeff Patterson interview? Jeff Patterson did an interview, and I'm like, wait a minute. Months ago, I said to Roxanne, get Joe Exotic on, write him a letter. I'm telling you what happened. You think it's coincidental that suddenly Jeff Patterson on Channel 8 shows up with an interview when on this show I made a big deal 2 months ago about Roxanne, send a letter to Joe Exotic, let's get him on the air.
I think we were hot fodder in their news meeting. Yeah. I think we were.
Guess what? Hey, we heard on the MJ Morning Show they're trying to get Joe Exotic. Hey, why don't we try to get Joe Exotic?
Mm-hmm.
That's clearly what happened here.
The only reason I know that Joe Exotic is back in the Panhandle is because of the very good reporting by Jeff Patterson on the story. Yeah. I am a big Patterson fan.
But listen, he's a good reporter.
He's excellent.
You know, when you look at Channel 8 these days, you have all of these like cub reporters that do not belong on the air in this market. And then you have like a professional like Jeff Patterson comes on. You're like, that's the Channel 8 I remember.
Right.
Not all of these like college quality reporters that are being hired for $28,000 a year these days. You know? But, you know, it's not just Channel 8. It's Fox 13. Some of the reporters on Fox 13 are awful. On Channel 8, Channel 28, Channel 10, some of the reporters would never have been allowed on the air on TV in the 80s, 90s, even the early 2000s. Yes. But now, you know, media's changed so much. They're hiring just cheap-ass, you know, they're hiring folks that really ought to be in, like, small markets like, you know, Wichita Falls, Texas for like 5 years. And even then, they might not be good enough to move up to a bigger market. And they're on the air now in market number 12, you know, with 3 million people in the Tampa metro.
How do we nominate Jeff Patterson for like an Emmy for this hard-hitting news piece?
Yeah.
Hey, I had a beef with Jeff Patterson years ago, but I could put,
I don't know.
There was some issue. Something happened with the MJ Morning Show, and Jeff Patterson, he did some kind of a story slamming me on Channel 8 back when, you know.
He did a slam piece
He did. This is like maybe 2006. Yes, he did.
I don't remember
I had words with him. I had words with Jeff Patterson. I was on the phone with him. I was yelling at him. I can't remember what it was. It was some stuff. In fact, they wouldn't let him on the property at the old studios on Gandy.
Really?
And he had to do his stand-up across the street in the shopping center. Where that, you got Depth Perception Dive Shop over there.
Yeah.
And the little shopping center right across. Or maybe it was like, because you have the U-Hauls right across the street.
Did we get in trouble for something?
Something happened.
It was before the turkey fryer stuff.
But he was on the sidewalk because he tried to come into the lobby and management threw him out. There was some issue where Jeff Patterson was doing a slam piece on me, and I forgot what it was, but I had total words with the guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys had
But
beef.
listen, I could put bygones behind me. Bygones be bygones, right? Water under the bridge, and I can still recognize that Jeff Patterson is one of the best reporters on local TV.
As seen by this Tiger King piece.
Yeah. But so I'm looking at the written piece, and Andrew pulled some audio of Jeff Patterson talking to Joe Exotic. Let me know when you have the audio ready to play. So Channel 8 on their website, I wanted her out of my hair. Joe Exotic talks Carol Baskin in an interview from prison. In 2020, Joe Exotic's story of zookeeping and murder for hire scheming took the internet by storm after the release of the Netflix documentary Tiger King. The former media personality, whose legal name is Joseph Allen Maldonado, gained notoriety for his management of the Greater Wynwood Exotic Animal Park in Wynwood, Oklahoma. In January 2020, 2 months before the documentary's release, Maldonado was sentenced to 22 years after being convicted of trying to hire hitmen to kill Carol Baskin, who ran Big Cat Rescue here in Tampa. He was later resentenced in 2022, reducing his prison time by just 1 year. That's great. So instead of getting 22 years, he got 21 years.
Poor Joe.
Yeah, baby. Over 2 years later, Maldonado maintained his innocence in an interview with 8 on Your Side's Jeff Patterson, who has that interview because either he heard us talk about getting it or some producer or assignment editor said, hey, heard the MJ Morning Show telling Roxanne to go make contact with Joe Exotic. And
It's beat her to the punch.
they beat us to the punch.
Yeah.
And you never followed up on it. Did you ever really send the letter to
Yeah,
him?
I sent it to Dallas. That was the whole thing where I got the address because he had moved from his rehabilitation place to Dallas.
Anyway, I just feel like we got snaked.
Yeah, seems like it.
Apparently, there's a lawsuit in Florida involving the music that was played in the Netflix documentary, and that's why he's.
Don't distract
here.
me from the fact that we got snaked.
Listen, I don't. Because we get snaked. We get snaked. Big deal. I'm glad it was a seasoned pro like Jeff Patterson that beat us to.
All right, hang on a minute. I got a couple of Jeff Patterson clips
Okay.
from the interview that should have been hours. Son of a bitch. All right, here we go.
You've had a long time to think about it. What do you think about Carol Baskin now?
I still think she's bat crazy and she killed her husband, you know? But have me and Carol made money off of each other for years.
You know, the rumors persist, the belief that Carol Baskin off the hubby, fed the hubby to the tigers, or buried him on the preserve. I mean, those are just theories that some people have. What do I know? I know nothing. I just know that people have speculated, you know, what happened to Carol Baskin's husband. Wasn't he at a landing strip up in like Pasco County or something, or Hernando? Wasn't his vehicle found there and he allegedly flew out on a private plane and then he never was found again? Or wasn't there some story about that? And that his vehicle was just found at the airstrip, either in like Hernando or Pasco, right?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't remember all of the details on it.
I can promise you, if Joe had received our letter, he would have come on the show.
Yes.
The letter is probably with your tax returns.
It got
Wise
lost.
ass.
It got
Well,
lost.
I'm actually appealing my whole case and to overturn my conviction. It's jail, you know.
Right.
It's been rough. It really has.
you know, this is our interview that Roxanne didn't follow. You know, I'm just going to record the whole Channel 8 piece.
Do
I'm
it.
gonna cut Jeff Patterson out. I'm just gonna ask all the questions and just use those answers.
Repurpose it. Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Joe says he never offered the FBI agent money to kill Carol, and that the FBI agent made up everything to entrap him.
Joe just finally asked a question out of the blue to get him out of my office. Well, how much do you charge? And he said $10,000. And then Joe said, if you watch the video that was played at my trial, then Joe says, well, Joe doesn't have $10,000.
All right, Roxanne, can you try to follow up again?
Again? Okay,
Yeah.
well, where is he now? Someone tell me where he is now, and I'll send another letter.
Festa thinks he's back in the Panhandle.
According to the Jeff Patterson piece,
Now he's back in Florida.
which is very well written and an expert interview by a seasoned pro.
See, you could have. It sounded like it was just voiceovers by Jeff Patterson. You could have just plugged yourself right in over those, MJ.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded. Yep.
Yeah.
We do that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm just going to take the whole Jeff Patterson interview. I'm just going to replace his voice with mine. And interview Jeff Patterson.
So you want me to resend a letter? Fester, will you do me a favor and find the address of where he is right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
All right, speaking of music.
Yes, music. We were speaking of music?
I saw, well, we just mentioned about you said something about.
Oh, yeah, okay, so yeah.
You said there's some kind of music
Yes.
lawsuit.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Totally unrelated. Moving on from Joe Exotic. You want me to take line 2?
What is it? Unless it's Jeff
I
Patterson.
don't know. Is it Jeff Patterson on line 2?
I'd love to talk to Jeff.
All right, some listener on line 2. Hi, good morning, MJ Morning Show. MJ, Fester, Roxanne, you're on. Who's this?
Good morning. This is Tiffany. I'm from Clearwater.
Hey, Tiffany from Clearwater. What can we do for you this morning on the MJ Morning Show?
I hope I'm not live because I am the most ghetto person in the world.
No, we are live.
You called the radio station, Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Ever listen to this show. When I tell you I am super ghetto and you guys match my energy, when you talk about things, you say what you mean what you say, you don't really give a bleep, bleep, bleep. And this is just, like, I want to share it with Facebook. Like, this guy doesn't care. He gonna say what he want, and I'm cracking up. I'm dying laughing. Like, this is the ghetto. You got Ricky Smiley almost beat. This is so funny. And I
That is
had
high
to
praise.
call and let you personally know that I will listen to you every single morning just for the excitement. If I'm having a bad day, forget Ricky Smiley. I'm on your butt. I'm on you. I'm on you, baby.
Sure as hell hope you get a device.
Did you say that you're a new listener? Like you just started? Like how recently, Tiffany?
Yeah.
2 days.
Oh, wow.
Tiffany, how long have you been in the Tampa Bay area?
41 years, and I'm 41 years
Whoa,
old.
hold on. You've been here how long?
41 years.
Since birth.
So you've been here since you were born. You never heard of MJ and BJ or the MJ Morning Show in the past?
I have heard of the MJ Morning Show. I don't know about BJ, but MJ,
right.
yes.
Yeah, so this is
That's him.
Yeah, you're listening to the MJ Morning Show. You know that, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, awesome. Well, Tiffany, it is a pleasure to have you as a new daily listener, even if it took 30 years for you to do that. Because the MJ Morning Show has been around since 1994. And
Wow.
if you could, Tiffany, we're the most consistent, entertaining morning show on Tampa Bay radio. In fact, one of the most consistent morning shows in the United States of America. So, Tiffany from Clearwater, is a pleasure to have you on as a new listener after decades.
I will every morning. And I'm going to tell you something. This might be the third time because one morning you had people guessing this tune and what it is. And then it's like, oh, what did they win? You ain't win nothing. Bye. Oh, heck no. So I love you guys, and I will do this every morning.
Oh, thank you, Tiffany.
Tiffany, love it. Tiffany, you keep in touch. And Tiffany, when we're talking about certain things that you like, feel free to call us anytime, okay?
Thank you, baby.
I'm looking forward to hearing you again. I want to hear from Tiffany and Clearwater at least once a month. I want to hear from you, okay?
I got you, baby. I got you.
All right, Tiffany, have a great day.
Thank you, Tiffany.
You too.
Oh, boy,
Tiffany
look at that.
was referring to a Hal Herman game just now.
Yeah, the 8-bit hit.
The 8-bit hit.
Yeah, she must have heard the best of last week. Yeah, while we were on vacation. All right, that's a great. Thank you, Andrew. That was a great call. You know, Andrew screens calls all morning long, and that was a great call.
What a nice welcome back call.
My head is the size of Rosie O'Donnell's ass right now. All right, that was a great phone call.
Very nice.
Yeah,
it was everything you want to be. She gets you.
Speaking of music, kind of a lame segue, but I saw an item, and I don't think I agree with everything. I saw an item online. I was doing show prep. I'm sitting in the airport yesterday in Grand Cayman. I'm sitting at gate 1 waiting for my Cayman Airways flight to leave Grand back to Tampa.
How many gates are there in that airport?
There are, I think, 8 gates.
Okay. All right.
8 or 10 gates.
Bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Well, they redid the airport a couple of years back. It's a much better airport now. All right, so here's the deal. I'm doing some show prep. I'm using the free Wi-Fi I've probably been hacked. My bank accounts are probably drained. But I was using the free airport Wi-Fi, and I stumbled across this headline from an item: 4 overplayed songs from the 1980s that lowered our intelligence.
That's a good list.
What are you snickering at?
It explains a lot. Let's hear them.
How many songs are in regular rotation here on Q105?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
First thing I'm thinking of.
Now, some are, some aren't, or some have been, but I don't think they're in current rotation. But these 4 songs, everybody knows these 4 songs.
So 4 songs that have lowered our intelligence.
Yeah. According to the Audio Fix website, 4 overplayed songs from the 1980s that lowered our intelligence. Inevitably, there'll be people, I'm reading the story here. Inevitably, there'll be people who disagree with the list, and heck, maybe some of the facts that follows. Maybe there is such an emotional connection between you and the tracks that you're blinded by what you see as greatness. For the rest of us, or newbies who have luckily not had to hear these tunes, there will be reasons each of these songs makes the list. True facts, too. Not like half of the lies I tell that aren't true. Maybe you grew up hearing some of these songs in the 1980s. Maybe you have never listened to the lyrics. If you haven't, we apologize for what you're about to read.
Okay.
The first song, overplayed 1980s song that lowered our intelligence, according to this article, is wrong continent.
I'm sorry. Asia's a band too, though, right?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. I was making sure.
Yes. In fact, Michelle and Chloe, while I was gone, last Monday, not last night, but Michelle and Chloe went to the Hard Rock.
Was
Asia? Well, the current iteration of Asia. I think there might be one original person. I think it might be a roadie. Was it Jeff Downs, the only original?
I think so.
So Asia played at the Hard Rock Event Center.
That's awesome.
Not last night, Monday, but last Monday. And they loved it. They went to Council Oak for dinner. That's a great restaurant. Council. Hold on, Andrew. Why are you holding your head in there?
I love Council Oak.
Yeah, it's a great place.
It's a spot.
Council Oak is solid. So they went to Council Oak, and then they went to the Asia concert. Anyway, so back over to Europe. Europe, the final countdown. Lazy way of looking at this song. It's actually about, the question might be, how do you know? The lyrics as heard and read seem to imply that the singer and a very good friend have traveled the universe around planet Earth, and they are sad that the trip is ending.
Okay. I've never...
The issue is that one might imagine themselves feeling some kinship with the final countdown for a long-term relationship. But the music is so overly produced that having any real connection is nearly impossible. Is the keyboard riff catchy? Sure, in a way that leaves one nauseated hours afterward. Hold on. Hours afterward.
All right, can I tell you?
Yes.
Other than it's the final countdown, I cannot tell you one lyric in that song. I didn't even know it had lyrics.
Well, when you start to read them, you see what they're talking about. They really are wonky lyrics. They don't make sense.
I pulled up the lyrics and I see what the guy's trying to say, but I can't tell you one lyric If you said sing the final countdown, all I would say is the final countdown. That's it. I don't know anything. I don't know. Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yes.
2 verses in this song. I don't know any of them. I don't know one word in either of them.
We're leaving together, but still it's farewell.
I would never.
Okay,
have
then if
said
you're
that.
leaving together, that doesn't make sense. Then you're not saying farewell if you're leaving together.
And
right?
maybe,
But still, it's farewell.
and maybe we'll come back to Earth. Who can tell?
I had no idea that line was in there.
I guess there is no one to blame. We're leaving ground. Leaving ground. Will things ever be the same?
Okay.
It's the final countdown.
The first line of the first verse, we're leaving together, but still it's farewell. I could picture that in my head. Everything else after that, whatever.
Next. So, Fester, you just screwed up continents by asking if that was Asia. No, that's Europe.
Okay.
But guess what else is on the list?
Australia?
Asia!
Asia!
Oh, Asia! Heat of the Moment is also on the list of the 4 overplayed songs from the 80s that lowered our intelligence.
See, I like Asia, but I don't like Heat of the Moment. I like Only Time Will Tell.
Only Time Will Tell, that's a good
Those
song,
are some
too.
bomb-ass lyrics. It's like, you're leaving now, it's in your eyes, there's no disguising it. You planned it all along. I mean, that's some like stealthy, she sounds like a witch.
But we're not talking about that song.
Right, we're talking about the
song with less
Heat of the-
bomb-ass
yes.
lyrics.
Yeah.
You described the lyrics as bomb-ass, Rob.
So this is on the list. Why?
Is that a stretch?
The problem is that the 80s appeared to set on giving us some kind of combination of metal and pop. That would have been fine had there been some oversight as far as the words. Okay, let's be real. Many times the music was too slick, couple that with words such as the heat of the moments. Do you remember when we used to dance and incidents arose from circumstance? One thing led to another. We were young and we would scream together. Songs unsung.
We're talking about losing virginity.
How do those 2 lines fit together in any logical way? Also, anyway, so this guy's ripping apart Asia's Heat of the Moment. Like both those songs. I like Europe Final Countdown. I don't think it dumbed me down. I don't think it lowered my IQ. Heat of the Moment, I don't think it lowered my IQ. Now, this next song, I really despise. All right, this next one, I hate like poison.
Okay. All right, which poison song?
I hate this like getting stabbed with a polonium-210 tipped umbrella or ricin tipped umbrella,
Hold
okay?
on, it's not a poison song? The way you said poison.
No.
I thought it was a poison
I
song.
like Poison.
Okay.
I love Bret Michaels. I think Poison's fantastic. I like most of the Poison songs. Bret Michaels is a gentleman. He is a great individual. I've met him on numerous occasions. No, I like Poison. This song is like Poison to me, but it's the initials for this 80s pop sensation, RM.
No
I know
way.
who it is.
Shut up.
Yeah, why
RM.
What?
Yeah, why are you hating on Richard Marx?
what's
Richard Marx, that is correct.
Oh, no
Richard
way,
Marx,
dude.
yes.
What's not to like about him?
This song
Play it.
is on the list of the 4 worst overplayed songs from the 80s that lowered our intelligence. Which Richard Marx song?
Doesn't stop the pain?
Yeah, maybe like Should Have Known Better. I can tolerate that one. I can tolerate some of the other Richard Marx songs, but that's just a dreary, syrupy, dismally dirge.
This is this is the Richard Marx Seal the Deal song, dude.
Get
Yeah,
outta here.
yeah. You know what's funny is I thought I was going to get away when I went to Italy. I thought I was going to get away from 80s, 90s, and more. But all we played was 80s music, and this song played over and over and
my
over
God.
again.
All right, listen. I'm not a mean individual, but I wish Richard Marx was run over by a bus before he recorded that song.
No way.
Right?
Do you like any of his stuff?
I just said I do. I like.
okay.
I should have known better.
Should have known better.
Yeah, I like his. There's a number of Richard Marx songs that I like.
All right.
But that's
That's
not one of them.
That's a power love song, man. I love it.
Endless Summer Nights. That's a good Richard Marx song.
All right, here we go. Let me read the description of this song. The difference between this song and The Police's Every Breath You Take is that Sting knew when he wrote the lyrics that the words would come across as if the narrator was stalking someone. That was kind of the point. Unfortunately, Richard Marx sings as if he's unaware of how creepy he sounds.
I agree with all that.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally,
there's a fine line between a stalker and somebody you're in love with.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
No, but Richard Marx, some of his songs, Right Here Waiting, what was some of the other big songs? He did
Endless
Hold On to the Nights.
Hold On to the Night. Yes.
He did that one. Hold On to the Nights. Should have known better. Don't mean that was the riff I was doing was Don't Mean Nothing. I can tolerate that song. All right, the last one.
Okay, before you get to the last one,
Yes.
MJ, if the song that I'm thinking isn't the number one song, I just texted Andrew and I want him to cue it up because this should be on the list. If it's not number one.
So if you wrote the article, you would have
Yes.
You have a song that should be on the list.
Yes, it absolutely should be on the list.
Roxanne revision.
All right, so you're saying that
maybe this is it. I don't know.
You don't know what my final one is.
No.
But if it's not the one you're thinking of, you think this should be on the list.
It needs to be.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. And now we're up to the final song from the 1980s that made you dumb as a box of rocks. It comes from... Actually, this song has one of the worst lyrics that's jammed in.
Shoehorned in.
Oh, yeah, it is. In fact, Andrew, get ready to bring this up. Get ready. Once I reveal, get ready to bring this up. Just go ahead and cue it up in the production room. What is it?
You only use the word shoehorn with one song.
What is it?
Africa.
That is correct.
And I gotta say, I think we play the hell out of it here.
I was just gonna say we play that all the time.
It's a high testing record too.
I never heard the jam in until you pointed it out when we started working at Q105, and I hear it every time.
It's Toto's. Say about Africa. The lyrics to this track have long been bandied about as being nonsensical. Maybe we should go one step beyond here. Imagine Toto saying their words to another person and that person saying, wait, what? And then that person realizing the narrator of Toto's song sees themselves as some kind of divine creature. How else to react to a chorus that ends with, I bless the rains down in Africa. I bless the rains down in Africa. I bless the rain. I bless the rains down in Africa. I bless the rain.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Great. Bless that rain, whoever you're supposed to be. But what gives you the right to do so? 40 years later, the music to this track is still somehow irritatingly catchy, but that only sucks us into the awfulness of the words. It is like the band got lazy there. Shame on them for setting us up, only to fail us with their message. I like Africa. I like Toto's. I like Toto as a whole.
Did you know that the word was "I bless the rains down in Africa"? I never knew it was bless.
Yeah.
It was like, and then the rains down in and then the rains down in Africa.
So, Andrew, did you get the lyric that I want? You know what? All right. Andrew, hold on. Turn your microphone on. Andrew, what lyric is one of the worst shoehorned lyrics in music history that is inside of Africa? Jam it in Serengeti. Serengeti. All right, folks, if you never heard it that way, you will now never be able to unhear that. Roll that back one more time. You will be bothered by how they jam in Serengeti. You're going to be bothered by that for the rest. It's like the whole rest of the song is fine for me, but that one lyric, Serengeti, jammed in there.
It's just 2 syllables too long. There's only half a beat to jam it all in.
You couldn't work in the Masai Mara. You couldn't work in, the Ngorongoro crater. Or...
He has enough time in other lines.
Anyway, so Roxanne, you have one more song that you would put on the list of the overplayed songs from the 1980s that lowered our intelligence.
Andrew, did you pull it up for me? Oh, I texted you. Okay, well, Andrew pulls it up if you're able to.
What is it?
Andrew, check your text.
Check your text and pull it up if you can.
I have no idea what. Give me some hints. Let me see if I can guess.
Okay, well, I'll get to that in a second. We definitely have played it, but do you see the commonality between these 4 songs? Well, at least 3 of them. Europe, Asia, Africa.
Oh, that's
They're
true.
all continents.
Yeah.
And then Richard Marx right here waiting for you. So they're all like locations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is your song Land Down Under?
No, it's not.
Australia.
Okay, you got it, Andrew. He's got it.
We're a North American band.
This is one of those songs.
Yeah.
If you play it for people like teenagers or early 20s and they've never heard it, they're going to look at you like, what the heck is that? You guys listen to this? It's really wonky.
Give me some hints. Let me see if I can guess.
Well, there's a woman's name in the song. Any ideas?
Roxanne.
No.
Eileen. Is that?
Well, let's hear what zing zing. It's just wacky. If you play that song for a Gen Zer who's never heard it, they will look at you like you're like hallucinating. It's weird. We're used to it.
So hold on. You know what? Let me call my Gen Z.
Okay, there you go.
Let me call Chloe.
Yes,
hold
get
on.
Chloe Steak. I hope she hasn't heard it. She probably has.
She's never heard "Come On, Eileen."
I mean, she probably has.
Get out of here. I mean, everybody's heard it.
Yeah,
it's a happy. I like the song.
It makes us dumb though.
Michelle, hello, Chloe.
Yes.
Are you home still?
Yes, I'm getting ready to leave.
Okay. Hey, are you listening to the show right now?
I was just listening a few minutes ago, and now I'm getting my Uber, so I stopped listening.
All right. So you don't know the song that Roxanne just wanted to add to the list?
No, I heard Up Until Africa, and I knew the second I heard you say shoehorned lyrics.
He only says shoehorn about one song.
That's where Roxanne got the term, because she heard me say
yes, exactly.
All right. So Roxanne, she says that Gen Zers don't know this song.
When they hear it, they're like, what did you guys listen to?
All right, Andrew, go ahead and play. Do you have it queued up? Do you have cue the song back up? So I want to play it over the phone for...
the whole song.
If you've heard it or not.
The one we just played.
Yeah. Just play from the beginning. If you've heard it or not, Chloe, is here we go.
All right. Chloe, do you know this?
Is this Come On Eileen?
What?
Yes.
Hold on. What did you say?
This Come On Eileen?
Yes! All right. So, my Gen Zer knows the song.
She knows it, but is it not weird?
All right. So you know Come On Eileen, obviously.
Yes.
All right. Do you like Come On Eileen?
No, I hate that song.
Right? See? It's weird.
Mom hates that song, too?
Yes.
I mean, you either get the song or you don't. I mean, I got lucky one time at the Big Catch in downtown St. Pete to this song.
So you have a good memory that you've tied to it.
Come On Eileen is, good time.
Chloe, go get your Uber. Have a good day at work, okay?
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a good day.
Chloe helping to fight crime at the state attorney's office in Hillsborough County, SAO 13.
Yeah, remember, Chloe, if you see my name on any file, shred them. Thanks, kid.
Your name was on a file.
A couple of files. They still are.
Yeah. Hey, do we still have that construction equipment contact?
I mean, it's been a long time.
But ASAP is not around anymore, are they?
You talking about?
Yeah, I need
a crane.
I need a piece of construction equipment. I need a 40-foot lift for about a week. And yeah, we used to have a great relationship with the guy that owned ASAP Rentals, and I think they sold out. So Do you have a I need a good connection. I need to get a good deal, a good price on a 40-foot lull or a lift for like a week. Listen, this is yes or no. Do you have a construction equipment connection any longer?
No, any longer. No, I had to remind myself what the lift was. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Do you have
any friends at Sunbelt or any of the other rental places?
No, I haven't used construction equipment. Everybody I knew probably is dead by now.
Man, I need a 40-foot lift for like a week, maybe 6 days. I thought you'd have. Anyway, remember the ASAP? They used to have the equipment right along I-4, not far from General RV.
I think it was the same actual physical property.
It might have been the same damn land that General RV bought from him.
The ASAP rental place.
You know what? I don't know. If we have any listeners that are in the construction equipment rental business.
Here, you can buy one for $81,000 brand new.
There we go. No, that's a scissor lift. No,
what's the difference? What do you need?
I don't need a scissor lift. I need like a lull.
What's a lull?
Like a JLC. It's the arm. It's the extent right there. It's
like for cutting trees?
It's an articulating boom. It's an articulating boom lift. I need a 40-footer. And I don't know if any listeners that are in the construction equipment rental business.
How long do you need it?
6 days, I said.
BigRents.com. You can rent it for $700, $696
for the week.
For the week,
that's not bad.
That's not bad. I mean, that seems like a deal.
Is that local?
This is a 30-foot one. I don't know. I'm typing it into Google.
It's probably in Newark, New Jersey.
This is what I'm saying. Is about $100 to $120 a day is probably the going rate to rent it.
Anyway,
are you going to be up in this?
No. Somebody's doing some work for me, so I need it. All right, so here's if any construction rental equipment company bigwigs are listening, drop me an email. MJ at mjmorningshow.com. MJ, that's my email, my private email. MJ at mjmorningshow.com. Sometime in August, I just need a 40-foot articulating boom for like 6 days.
You could rent it from Home Depot.
But I need to get it. Did they deliver? I don't know. Did the Home Depot deliver it?
Anyway, I'll tow it with the Cadillac.
Anyway, listen. I want a new connection like our old ASAP buddy.
That'd be great to have some construction equiment at our fingertips.
So send me an email, folks. MJ at mjmorningshow.com. All right, we have a couple of things that are airline related. And, I'm an airplane nerd. If I were not a radio personality, I probably would have gone into aviation. I might have been a pilot. That probably is the second thing that I would have wanted to do. Radio number one, commercial pilot number two. So a couple of things here. I got everything from puking to
the pilot puke.
Well, no, the flight attendants on the back. This is a crazy story. I'll get to that in a second. First, though, the Southwest Airlines story that kind of broke while we were on vacation last week. The Southwest plane that almost crashed into Tampa Bay. Ooh. What a crazy freaking story. That right near the Courtney Campbell Causeway, that a Southwest flight from Columbus, Ohio, back on July 14th, it took time for the story to actually get out. It took days and days because we were on vacation when the story finally hit. But Southwest Flight 425 from Columbus, Ohio, here to Tampa on July 14th came within 150 feet, which is nothing.
Nothing.
Into crashing into Tampa Bay right near the Courtney Campbell Causeway. Weather was bad. There were some cells around. But this airplane descended way too low. In fact, I'm not going to give out any names, but I have I've got several friends that are Southwest pilots.
Okay.
And one of my friends, because I was asking him, hey, what's the lowdown? He's going to have more like inside information for me on the Southwest flight that was supposed to land at Tampa International, came within 150 feet of the water on Old Tampa Bay, and then diverted to Fort Lauderdale. Listen to this.
Can I ask you a question real quick so you can put some perspective up? All right. You know, when you're driving from my house, so like on the Veterans headed toward the interstate, like from West Chase toward the I-275, right?
Yeah.
And you're going through there and the planes are landing and they're coming down.
You mean on Hillsborough?
No, not on Hillsborough.
On the Veterans.
on the Veterans.
Where the light markers
They come down Veterans.
Yes.
They come over like Benjamin Road area.
Yes.
Yeah.
When
and the bowling alley.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So that's landing right over Hillsborough.
Right.
Those are when they land to the south, and they're coming from the north. They land to the south, and the left runway is 19 left. The right runway closer to the Veterans. If you're going over Hillsborough, that's 19 right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. See, I knew you'd have all this information.
Yeah.
Do you have this information?
Yep.
When I was a kid, my dad would take us and we'd pull over on the side of the road and just sit there and watch the planes land. And it was super. And I love it still driving through. Anytime a plane comes over, and it feels like they are right on top of your car.
Or-
what is the distance at that point?
Oh, so maybe 100 feet. Maybe 100.
Really?
Maybe 150 feet.
Okay. Okay.
No,
so
no. You know what? A little higher. So
I think they're
over Hillsborough, maybe 200, 250.
Okay, you're giving us some perspective as to how close it was to the water.
But the other way, if you're on the Veterans Expressway,
Mm-hmm.
if you're on the Veterans and they're coming in from the south, landing to the north, coming from like
Yes.
MacDill Air Force Base.
That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about.
So,
yes.
well, that's on the Veterans Expressway.
Okay. I
So
thought I said that, but
We were talking Hillsborough.
It's all right.
So,
It's
so
okay.
if you're coming in the other way over South Tampa, then the left runway over Tampa Bay is one left, and the one over Beach Park, like over like West Shore,
Is one right?
is one right.
Oh,
Right?
okay. Okay. One
But-
left, one right.
But like for instance, when you're on the Veterans,
What do they call
you
the
know, and
middle?
you'll have the planes that'll fly right over you.
Yes.
If it's a one left
Yes.
approach.
Ooh,
One
that
left
gives me
approach.
that gives me like
Yeah.
you know what, I put that in the same category as like when I see, the Tico trucks going to save the day after a hurricane. That's the kind of thrill I get when I get a plane
Get a
over
plane.
my head.
Well, then you need to do the beach deal on St. Martin.
Yes, I've seen
Have you
that.
seen those videos?
I've seen those
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah, so Maho Beach, right in St. Martin, you can be on the. They actually had to put some additional barriers up because people were being blown into like the guardrail.
Yeah, I mean, people
Yeah.
weren't meant to be
Yeah.
in that location.
Yeah, but those are crazy landings. Also, where else was I? I think St. John, U.S. Virgin Islands. There's another really interesting. Anyway, so let me tell you what my Southwest Airlines buddy said. He said regarding this incident, he said, quote, the FAA is going to be on us like Michael Jackson on a third grader.
Oh boy, maybe you guys could switch jobs for a day. You could go be a pilot, and you could be a radio show host with those jokes.
Yeah, that's some zinger, man. Wow.
Well, and then he sent me a
Michael
chart.
Jackson.
He sent me one of the aviation maps, one of the charts.
Yeah.
And what was going on here, and this is interesting, is that this Southwest plane was going to land on the east-west runway, which is like never used for commercial jets. They were going to land on, you've got the north-south parallel runways. You also have an east-west runway called 10. If you're coming from the Gulf, it's 10. If you're coming from out east,
It's 11?
it's 28.
Oh,
So
damn it.
they were going to land on that runway. They were on approach. But here, before I move on, this is the deal. Where that plane was 150 feet off the water, the chart for Zexy, that's the waypoint, is ZEX. I'm not going to get into detail, but the waypoint where that aircraft was is called Zexy, ZEXYY.
You got
And
some nerve saying you're not going to get into detail after you named every runway.
Wait a sec. Listen. That plane at Zexy was supposed to be at 1,600 feet. The charts say that plane should have been 1,600 feet, where it was at 150 over Tampa Bay. That is crazy.
Okay. You know the joke, and that pilots only work on, the landings and the takeoffs, and they just kind of chill the rest of the time. Like that's your only time you have to be focused on your job. That's when you have to make sure you're at the right elevation.
Yeah. Yes,
right?
Andrew.
Yes, I've watched a plane coming into Tampa International while I'm on 275 north of the interchange.
Yep.
Coming across Tampa from the east.
Yep.
It just looks so weird because they never.
Yeah, they don't use 1028 very often. That's the east-west. Anyway, so I should have more information, a little inside scoop on this Southwest plane. And then the pilots apparently got on and said, yeah, we're running low on fuel. We're going to go to Fort Lauderdale.
Huh?
Wait a second. Wait a minute. If you're running low on fuel, you want to land in Tampa Bay. Well, actually, you want to land at the airport, not in Tampa Bay, like they almost did.
So they told the passengers we're running low on fuel. We're going to go to Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, and the pilot said we're having very gusty winds. There was some situational awareness. But folks, can you imagine? This could have been a whole different story. A Southwest 737 crashing into Tampa Bay. It was, I think, fairly close to that happening.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And remember, 150 feet is only a little bit more than its wingspan.
Good reference.
Yeah.
Good reference.
You know what?
Andrew.
Yeah.
Thank
what
you,
is the
Andrew.
wingspan on a 737? Like 120 feet?
Almost.
Yeah.
About 118.
118. Wow.
Whoa.
Anyway.
Andrew with the deets.
All right, now on to the vomiting United Airlines flight attendants.
You really need to do an airplane podcast. I'm just saying. Tell me about the puking.
Yeah, we have actual audio. All right. This is a United Airlines flight, which was diverted because the crew was puking all over the back of the airplane. This was United Airlines flight 2477.
United we puke.
Yeah, it was from Houston, Texas to Boston. They diverted to Northern Virginia, and apparently the crew was vomiting, and all the passengers around them were asking for masks. They had to divert. It was declared like a biohazard on the airplane. We probably need to get the flight on the ground as soon as possible, is what's heard on the air traffic control audio. But they declared it a biohazard. Crew members were puking all over the place. Why? And then the airplane landed in Washington, and the aircraft had to go through an extensive deep clean after people became ill on the plane. The situation was so severe that crew members and others on board stated that they were becoming ill themselves, like sympathetic puking or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah.
Compassion puking.
Yeah, I mean, you want to hear some of the audio? Listen to this. Listen.
Captain, how soon can you land?
I can't tell.
You can tell me I'm a doctor.
No, I mean, I'm just not sure.
Or can't you take a guess?
Well, not for another 2 hours.
You can't take a guess for another 2 hours?
No. I mean, we can't land for another 2 hours. Fog.
There we go. Actual audio from. This is crazy.
Surely you must be kidding.
I talked to the crew, and it sounds like it's quite bad back there. That's on the radio traffic. The crew is vomiting, and passengers all around are asking for masks. A crew member was heard saying in the audio from the flight, what happened? The plane landed safely at Washington Dulles, which is actually Northern Virginia. No one required medical help, and the aircraft had to go through a deep clean. I think they called zero res.
Yeah. They got it out.
They called zero res to
with a zero residue solution. It's fantastic.
You know, because they don't leave the residue in the airplane carpet,
that's
you
right.
know?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So it stays cleaner longer. But that's crazy. So, and then there was the crazy story also regarding Southwest that it was so hot on some of the flights on the ramp on the that some soda cans were exploding in the airplanes because it was so hot. But then it was like, the soda cans are exploding on Southwest flights. So wait a minute. No other airlines had exploding soda cans? It was only a Southwest issue?
I mean, they kept it on the wing.
Yeah. There were more than 100 reports of soda cans exploding on flights back in June. Southwest flight attendant union president Bill Bernal told CNN, some of which have injured flight attendants, like what, with like a can of Diet Pepsi shrapnel or something?
I mean, that little flip lid, sometimes maybe a projectile off.
Got a Diet Coke IED going on. You know?
Jeez.
Better than an IUD.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's where I thought you were going.
Is Southwest the only airline that actually keeps track?
What?
How many? Is Southwest the only airlines that keeps track
of exploding soda cans? Bernal predicted nearly 3 times as many reports of exploding cans by the end of July. The issue has been happening for years, but this year we've had more incidents than normal. Wait a minute. Soda cans exploding? The hazard is unique to Southwest. Why? Because the airline does not serve perishable items, and so it isn't required to have refrigerated trucks or storage. That apparently is why, because Southwest, they don't serve meals.
They serve bagged nuts.
They'll give you
pretzels.
Bag of snack. That's it. So I guess that's why Southwest is affected and other airlines are not. So so what happens is the catering trucks that bring the sodas to Southwest flights at really hot, sweaty airports.
It's already hot when it gets on the plane.
They're on those catering trucks, and they're not refrigerated trucks. So if you're getting meals, that the sodas and everything arrive on a refrigerated truck. I guess that's the difference here.
Huh.
But flight attendants are getting injured for even then. How hot does a freaking can of Coke have to be to explode?
Jeez,
that's pretty nuts.
One of the few things that they do serve on Southwest.
That is true. Mm-hmm. All right. I've got some Julio Foolio breaking news. Breaking news here on the MJ Morning Show. A couple of fronts. Did you see any of the press conference? Of course, Julio Foolio is the rapper. That's his stage name. The now deceased rapper, real name Charles Jones, but known as Julio Foolio.
Oh, is Ricky Ridiculous taken already?
Which is one of the greatest names of all time.
Julio Foolio.
I mean, that's one of the greatest names. I think we have a weekender that's going to steal the name. I think we're going to have a new weekend DJ here on Q105 that's going to go by Julio Foolio.
That'll fit perfectly on Q105.
I think it'd be great. But this is insane.
Okay, I just read the story. I'm like, what's going on? I've never heard of this guy, and you're saying that we've done this story, but it was when I was in Italy.
Yeah, when you
you were in Italy.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So this is because it says celebrating his birthday at a Tampa Holiday Inn on June 23rd.
Yes.
When you were in Italy, there was a major news, music-related Julio Foolio.
Right. There was an ambush. This is like an assassination.
Yeah, this is all new to me.
And you had these gang members from Jacksonville that followed Julio Foolio to Tampa, and they gunned them down in a motel parking lot near USF.
Not a motel, hotel.
I'm sorry, hotel.
Holiday Inn.
So they gunned them down. And then
he was having his birthday party there.
Tampa PD released the video, the surveillance video from the hotel. And, I mean, there are portions where it looks like a scene out of the movie Heat. It is insane. In fact, I pulled some audio from the press conference yesterday with Chief Burkaw. And, I mean, you got to hear some of this audio. And then I've got some breaking news, some new breaking news that you have not heard elsewhere. First, though.
A little more than a month ago, a group of individuals with the goal of premeditated murder traveled from Jacksonville to Tampa to commit a heinous crime in our city. I said at that time that we would make arrests and get justice in this case for all the victims.
They did.
Today I stand before Tampa Police Major Pat Messmer, Jacksonville Sheriff T.K. Waters, and Hillsborough State Attorney Susie Lopez to announce the arrest of 3 people in the deadly shooting of Charles Jones, also known by his stage name of Julio Foolio.
Just hearing the chief say Julio Foolio. No, but listen, they solved this case.
These individuals took extreme measures to try to cover their actions, but they were no match for our investigators.
Bam!
Isaiah Chance, Elisa Andrews, Sean Gaithright, Davion Murphy, and Rashard Murphy are all accused of playing a role in Jones's death and are all charged with 1 count of murder in the first degree, premeditated with the discharge of a firearm, and 1 count of conspiracy of murder in the first degree, premeditated with the discharge of a firearm.
All right, so they have 21-year-old Alicia Andrews. They have her. They have 21-year-old Isaiah Chance. They have 18-year-old Sean A. Gaithright. They have those 3. They're still, they were charged, but they're still trying to apprehend 30-year-old Rashad Murphy and 27-year-old Davion Murphy. But the video that got released is it's nuts. I mean, they're firing shots. There's a car wreck in the parking lot as they're trying to speed off.
Surveillance video was critical in this investigation, as suspects were seen on video following Jones from location to location. This shows the lengths that these individuals were willing to go through and achieve that this murder would occur.
All right, here's more from Chief Lee Burkaw, Tampa Police, describing what happened.
At 4:15 in the morning, Jones began to head to a hotel on McKinley. One of the suspect vehicles is seen following the victim. However, instead of following them into a parking lot, they stage across the street. At 4:38, 3 shooters exit a vehicle and walked in the direction of the hotel. They murdered Jones with a handgun and 2 rifles. This barrage of gunfire also struck 3 additional victims who miraculously survived this incident.
And then a little final message from Chief Burkaw at TPD.
I want to send a clear message to anyone that the city of Tampa is not where you want to come to settle a dispute. You will be charged, you will be arrested, and you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent possible. Furthermore, if you're a gang member, there's no alleged immunity through a cone of silence, as our detectives will find evidence needed to make an arrest and hold everyone accountable, just as we did in this case.
All right, in all honesty, would I be dealing with this story to this extent if the guy's name wasn't Julio Foolio? Probably not.
Did the chief give any information on the arrest of Willie Wacky and Billy Silly? Both of which...
Julio Foolio. Anyway, listen.
What about Larry Ludacris?
Yeah, terrible story. But I do have some more breaking news.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard what's going on with the Hillsborough County School Board.
No.
There are plans to change Greco Middle School to Julio Foolio Middle School. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
Julio Foolio.
Is Julio Foolio related to Coolio?
I don't know if there's any. There's no relation.
No.
No relation.
No.
Well, this is big news.
Greco Middle School is going to be Julio Foolio
Yeah, so
Middle School?
it's very close. It looks like it might even happen before the start of school. What is it, August 8th? What is the first day of school?
First couple of weeks of August.
Yeah. So there's a chance that it could be signed off and approved. I don't know if they're going to have the sign out front changed, but not far from where the shooting took place. The plans are to change Greco Middle School, which I got kind of a problem with that because the Greco name is obviously very big. Mayor Dick Greco, and then Greco Middle School is named after
Angelo Greco.
Yeah, from
he was a school board member in the 40s or something.
Yeah, a long time ago. But just heads up, it's looking like Greco Middle School is going to be changed to Julio Foolio Middle School as a commemoration. So we'll let you know when that transpires.
Wasn't there a saying when we were kids? Don't be a foolio, stay in schoolio. Was it this
I think
expression?
you just made that up.
I think that was a thing. I think
maybe
it was.
Maybe in the upper white kid school that you went to, they're like, hey, don't be a foolio, stay in schoolio.
Congratulations. The world record for the longest Cuban sandwich was just achieved here in the Tampa Bay area.
I saw that.
Did you see it?
This weekend, I wanted to go.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions about that, though. On July 28th, history was made. This happened right outside of the Bucs training facility.
Yeah.
That's right on MLK.
Yeah. This weekend I typed in things to do in Tampa, and it said Tampa Bay Buccaneers largest Cuban sandwich, and I'm like, it's too hot to go out, but I'm happy it happened.
A bunch of chefs. You had all kinds of people that volunteered. They made a Cuban sandwich 365.9 feet in length.
Look at the size of this thing.
Longer than a football field. A football field is 100 yards or 300 feet. This was 365.9 feet. Now, there was a previous record that they beat. That was apparently set some time ago in Kissimmee. But listen, Tampa Bay, the Cuban record belongs right here with Ybor City, the great Cuban sandwich places that we have around town. The sandwich was then cut into portions, and all the sandwiches were donated to like local shelters.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the issue. I wonder if were there any cases of food poisoning? I mean, that thing sat outside for hours in the sun. Nothing like,
Did they put the mayo on, the mayo mustard stuff?
Exactly.
Right?
Because
it's not mustard and it's not mayo.
You got Swiss cheese, you got the pork, you got the ham. I mean, did that stuff bake out in the sun? Do we have any food poisoning? I mean, great concept. Let's give all of the sandwich to homeless shelters. But did we have a bunch of puking homeless people that got food poisoned because the sandwich was out in the sun all freaking day?
Yeah.
Listen,
it's an important point.
I don't want to take anything away from it, but that's the first thing that kind of came to mind. When they took them hours to make this thing. It's out in the sun all day. It's 94 degrees outside, and you got deli meat and
mayonnaise.
The meat's going to be fine. What the roasted pork? I don't know.
Yeah.
All the pickles on it. But, they estimate this could feed 750 people.
750 people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, but anyway, the sandwich was donated to New Beginnings Tampa Bay to help those in need. And I'm just hoping that there was food safety in mind after the thing was out all day.
Okay, so MJ, as I'm looking at it doesn't look like one person made the whole sandwich.
No,
they had teams.
Duh.
Right.
Oh, yeah, one person made a 365-foot-long Cuban.
I don't think it was sitting out for 4 hours or 5 hours in the blazing sun of the day. A team of 100 people can make the sandwich in, probably 5 minutes.
I think it took longer than 5 minutes.
Okay, fine, 15 minutes.
All right, so I don't know. How long was the sandwich on these folding tables? And I guess they were under a long tent as well.
Yeah, it was covered. It wasn't in direct sun. I'm watching video. Everybody's wearing gloves.
Still, I don't think, mayonnaise and cheese and meat do well out on a hot weekend day.
Yeah, it looks
really hot.
Anyway, it's a nice story. I don't want to take anything away from it. I'm glad that the world record resides here in Tampa Bay for the longest Cuban sandwich of all time. Good stuff. Oh, speaking of food, the original Fresh Kitchen burned down.
Did you see that?
Yes.
Oh,
Where's
that's
that located?
Sad. On Howard, South Howard.
South Howard. That's the first Fresh Kitchen.
I love Fresh Kitchen. We go to the one on Kennedy quite a bit.
Yeah, that's near my house.
By your house.
Yeah. So the one near Kennedy and West Shore
did not burn down.
No.
That one's okay.
Yeah.
Kennedy and West Shore Fresh Kitchen's okay. The original one, which they were just shy of their 10-year anniversary. They were just about to celebrate 10 years on South Howard. And
the insurance policy is about to expire.
No.
Investigate it, boys.
I'm
just saying.
We just stop and fester.
I'm just saying.
Was it arson?
I don't know. You don't know.
I doubt it.
I'm not an investigator.
Probably some grease fire. Probably some little up in the vent or something. Or there'll be a full report. But the original Fresh Kitchen, in Soho on South Howard, has apparently it's a total loss. They're gonna have to rebuild. That location is done, and it was in an old house. It wasn't like a more modern commercial building. It was in an old house.
I've never been there, but I'm looking at the structure. Hole. There's a hole in the roof that's enormous. They can't repair this.
No. The building's gonna have to be. I'm sure the building's a total loss. They're going to have to bulldoze the building and start again. And hopefully Fresh Kitchen rebuilds.
Man, they had good sauces there.
Bigger, stronger, faster. They can rebuild it like the $6 million man.
You like their sauces, do you, Rox?
I love holy kale, coconut sriracha, creamy white ginger. I get them all.
Whoa,
what
about their roasted tomatoes? Because, they're really roasted now.
Anyway, listen, I feel bad for all the employees. Hopefully they could be moved to other locations. But listen, to rebuild, that's going to be over a year.
Okay.
To rebuild at that location.
You heard it from Contractor MJ.
Contractor.
Is that why you need the boom arm lift to help service?
I'm helping. Again, if you're in the construction equipment business, if you can help me get a good deal on I need a 40-foot articulating boom for about 6 days. If you can hook me up, we used to have a great construction equipment contact with ASAP Rentals, but I think they sold out. So if you're in the construction equipment business and you can help me get a 40-foot articulating boom, send me an email, mj@mjmorningshow.com. That's mj@mjmorningshow.com. Where do we go from here? There's so much and only a few minutes left in an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ. But we have the 9 o'clock hour. And let me impress upon you folks that if you love the MJ Morning Show and you stop listening soon when you get to work, you got to figure out a way to listen at work. Bring a radio to work. Listen on your phone. We're on all the streaming apps. Just search for Q105 Tampa Bay. Go to mjmorningshow.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, there's a red button that says Listen Live. You can listen on your computer speakers. You can listen on, the smart speakers, Alexa, all that crap. So you can continue listening to the MJ Morning Show. Because we keep going, folks. Our 9 o'clock hour is solid. It's not filler. It's all killer. It's good stuff. So don't miss out on the 9 o'clock hour every day here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Roxanne, you sent me a cryptic note that your husband, Doug, is involved in promoting underage drinking.
Doug?
Can you...
Accidental. Yeah.
That's not what it says.
Well,
it says,
was accidental.
It says, I have a funny story about Doug encouraging underage drinking. What is he handing White Claws to 9-year-olds? What is...
Close.
Pretty much. Was he volunteering at the middle school making mixed drinks?
I just sleuth this thing out?
Listen, I have to preface this with Doug is a rule follower. One of us has to be, and he is appalled that this happened, but it did.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's another episode of... Roxanne and Doug. Not to be confused with... and Doug. This is... Roxanne and Doug. Go ahead.
So he had a big golf tournament that was broadcast on the internet. I watched some of it this weekend.
On the
internet.
Wide coverage.
It was a big deal.
A golf tournament so big, it was on the internet.
It
wasn't on the Golf Channel. It wasn't on CBS.
No.
Jim Nantz wasn't commenting.
Yes.
It was on the internet.
Did they have commentators?
Yes.
Like, thank you for watching us on www.golfworld.com.
Yes, investors, I tell this story. Watch this shot. I'm going to let you watch this while I tell the story.
Do I have to watch Doug golf?
Yes, watch.
Oh,
there you go.
No.
So he was in this tournament. He was very excited about it back in his hometown, in Grand Rapids. And, well, it's Kalamazoo, but the tournament was in Grand Rapids.
Western Michigan.
And he said to his caddy and his foursome or whatever at the beginning of the week, all right, this is what I want. Every day, I want my cart loaded up with high noons. The most important thing.
I thought he was a White Claw drinker.
Same thing.
He's a seltzer.
He is a seltzer.
A hard seltzer guy.
I was at Walmart,
and
I saw this huge display of high noons.
Yeah.
And they had like a life-size statue of that douche couch, Dave Portnoy.
Oh, you mean that genius, David Portnoy?
That would repel me. and for the folks who are like, hey, MJ, did you hear about Dave Portnoy's latest pizza review? He knows nothing about pizza. Yeah. He knows zippo zilch. No, I don't pay attention to Dave Portnoy's pizza reviews. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so Fester, you see him chip it right in?
I did. That was an amazing shot.
It was an amazing shot. So he had the shot of the tournament. Well, he told these guys, his caddies, he's like, all right, make sure we have high noons, filled up every day for all of us. He goes, the most important thing is we need to be having a good time out here. That's what this is about. We need to have a good time.
Good golf. Let's just all get drunk.
That's the thing. You
and
gotta have
shank
fun.
Balls.
That's what we do in this room, right? Why are we here? We're here to have fun. So he is having a heck of a time all week with these guys. So at the end of the tournament, he's talking to his caddy. He's like, so Chase, and I saw a picture of Chase. Chase is a big, burly, big looking guy. And he says, Chase, how old are you? And Chase is like, I'm 18. So all week long, he's been just partying it up with Chase.
Oh, my God.
He's been getting his caddy drunk, and his caddy's 18 years old?
Doug has been taken into custody by Michigan State Police.
Doug felt terrible.
With that,
Because like I said, he's
with that stupid plaque on their hood. You ever see that? They have the
Little
the
divider.
The state police have this weird little. It's a crazy looking device on their hood. It's I don't know what it is.
It's a fin that says state.
Yeah,
trooper or
it's like
something.
it's like a plexiglass fin that says state police. It's the weirdest thing in the middle of their hood. It's crazy. Anyway, I've got a story as well.
About underage drinking?
No, from my flight. Underage. But I have a story from my flight yesterday. And some people are just so obnoxious and situationally unaware. Or they're just so blatantly, I guess, rude. Or they just disregard others around them. We had, and this is this is 3 rows up for me. This is on Cayman Air's flight KX202.
Ah, yes.
This is from Grand Cayman to Tampa International yesterday afternoon.
Packed flight?
It was. A Monday freaking flight was packed. The plane was jammed. So here's the deal. I'm in row 8. I'm in 8C, 8 Charlie, aisle seat. And 1, 2, 3 rows ahead of me, I guess it would have been 5, I guess, right at the bulkhead. Yeah, because 1 through 4 are first class seats. I'm back in coach. And right at the bulkhead, right behind first class, you had a mother and another adult, and there was a little kid that must have been about 5 or 6 years old. The mother had given the kid an iPad to play with, to obviously keep the kid occupied during the entire flight. And the volume on the game that this kid was playing was cranked up. The iPad volume was max. The whole damn flight, from beginning to end, I'm hearing bing, 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 bing. I don't know what it must have been some kind of touch game where you touch things on the screen and all kinds of bing, 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 bing. The whole freaking flight. 1 hour and 28 minutes from wheels up to wheels down. It was an hour and 28 minutes. The whole freaking time. Ding, 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 ding. The whole flight, this iPad is cranked to full freaking volume. I mean, just total disregard, total discourteousness for the passengers around. Why do people think that it's acceptable to run volume on some kid's game with the most obnoxious little noises coming out of this little computer game, this video game on an iPad? Why does this mother think that the whole cabin should have to listen to it? You know, my buddy Rich,
yes,
Rich Howard, who I went diving with Brian and Rich down in Little Cayman. We had a great time. So a great trip. And Rich was in the row in front of me. Rich was in 7A. He had 7 window. And so he was 2 rows away from this mess. And I was like, I can't believe this freaking iPad, the whole flight. Ding, 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 ding.
We get it now.
Just all these stupid noises. And he said, yep, that's why I put in my AirPods.
Yeah.
And, I'm reading the new Blues Brothers book, which is so good.
Do you not bring noise-canceling headphones on flights?
You know, I have some. I just didn't. They were up in my backpack. I've got some in-ear Boses that are old. I need to get a new set.
I feel like I've been on planes before.
Hey, you know,
where they said,
I've got new MJ merch that arrived.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's just so people send us mystery merch. If anyone wants to send a great pair of high quality noise canceling earbuds,
all right,
anybody, just send it to the radio station, care of MJ Mystery Merch.
So yeah, I feel like I've been on flights before where they said volume must be turned down or you must wear headsets.
No, no, they don't have to send the 70. I'm buying the new 77-inch TV. Andrew, what? Tell everyone what you just said.
Along with the 70-inch TV that you've asked for.
No, I'm buying that. Yeah, I'm gonna order the because our big TV in the living room, it's starting to have some issues, and the connectivity, the Android stuff. So listen, it's 9 years old. I've got a 75-inch, and man, I got my eyes on this the Sony 77-inch A95L is the best TV on the market right now. It is an OLED. Yeah, it's OLED.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's the Sony A95L. And they make it in a 65 and a 55 as well, I believe. But, man, that is the best TV on the market. So, yeah, Michelle's like, we don't need a new TV. I'm like, yes, we do. So I'm about to have a fight in the house because I'm about to order the TV. And Michelle's like, we don't need it. I'm like, yes, we do.
I've had some pretty good luck with the TLC from Walmart.
I'm not putting TLC in the house. Sorry.
Pretty good
I'm
brand.
not putting Vizio and TLC in.
Pretty good brand.
I'm putting in high-end Sony.
Good on you.
Well, thank you. So where was I?
I don't even know. We're talking about the ding, 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 and you don't wear stuff. You don't wear ear protection. I feel like I've been on flights where they said, "Hey, you must turn. If you're going to play volume, you must wear a headset."
Yeah,
you didn't say something to the flight attendant.
You know what? It was the flight attendant's job. The flight attendants clearly recognized because while they were doing beverage service, ding, 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 the whole freaking flight.
But you didn't say, "Hey,
no.
is it possible? Can you just say something?"
Now I know what to do if I really want to get on your nerves.
Yeah.
I did not Karen myself up good on the flight.
You would have if you would have had the flight
you know
attendant
what?
do it. You could have.
If I was in their row, I would have taken the iPad and smashed it.
Yeah.
But I was not in the row.
You should have just made your own sound effects like you just did for us.
I should have gone. You know what? I should have gone right to Mom's ear and gone. That's what I should have done.
Or you could have asked the mom, "Hey, could he turn it down?"
All right.
Jeez.
8:52 at the MJ Morning Show. This brings over an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ to a close. The 9 o'clock hour is coming up. Let me talk about my great friends at Veterans Ford. This is simple, folks. MJ and Roxanne and Fester Andrew, the producer. It is a Tuesday morning. Best of was on yesterday because I extended my vacation by a day because we lost about half a day because of the whole computer CrowdStrike snafu getting down to Little Cayman. We missed our connector. We were able to get out of Tampa Bay to Grand, but we were 3.5 hours late, so I missed the last flight out to Little Cayman. Anyway, great videos. I put a couple up. Roxanne loves the giant grouper. There's a great turtle video, a shark coming right at me, some spotted eagle rays majestically just swimming over one of the walls. So a couple of great videos, and I'm going to put a hammerhead up that I saw. I'll put that up later this week. Some videos of my scuba trip up on my website, up on my Instagram, Certified MJ Radio. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, give me a follow. It's Certified MJ Radio. And got a couple of videos that you might like. People, seem to be leaving some nice comments. I'm a scuba diving nut. It's a passion of mine. And if you have any interest in scuba diving and you want to get certified, send me an email. Happy to point you in the right direction. MJ@MJMorningshow.com is my email. MJ@MJMorningshow.com. Has anyone in the room ever been screwed in the butt?
I mean, there was that time in prison.
All right, Fester, I'm dancing around, and you're just going. I mean, come on.
That's what the guy said.
Will you stop?
Oh my God, that's what he said.
Will you stop?
I'm reliving the whole
come
thing.
On. All right.
It was.
But you're dancing around, MJ.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
Okay, tell me.
Clarification: county jail wasn't prison.
Will you stop? Will you please?
You just asked the question.
A 40-year-old woman used a handheld. Power driver.
Power tool, screwdriver.
Yep. And screwed a 12-year-old's buttocks.
Oh.
What? 40-year-old woman allegedly asked her daughter before using an electric screwdriver to direct the screw into the 12-year-old victim's rear end, according to the police.
Oh.
That's awful.
The mother asked her daughter, have you ever been screwed in the boop, in the beep?
All right.
And then used a battery-powered screwdriver, a power drill, to then drive a screw into the 12-year-old. This is nuts.
That's nuts. I didn't know where you were going with this. I thought maybe someone was using it as like a doing butt filler and then screwing the butt shut. I mean,
screwing the butt shut.
Listen,
where you insert the cock. I'm just like, this is not what I'd imagine.
I thought there'd be some degree of humor or comedy.
I'm looking at the arrest affidavit here.
Yes.
Jacqueline Gosinski.
Yes. Great. Mother of the year.
Of course, it's a Florida family. Of course, this is a Florida story. Used an electric screw gun and screwed a nail into the victim's left side buttocks. Questioned by police right here in St. Petersburg, folks. Did this make the local news? I was away. I just got back yesterday afternoon. I've not seen this in the local news. I've seen this on no local news site. Questioned by police about the incident, Gosinski reportedly said that the girl walked past her and she asked the victim, who is 12 years old, about getting screwed in the ass.
Oh.
Gosinski, cops in St. Petersburg say, placed the screw gun on the girl's left buttock, pressed down on the trigger, driving the screw into her butt. The screw left a visible mark and was stuck in the girl's body until she took it out. Gosinski was arrested on Friday evening by St. Petersburg police and charged with felony child abuse.
So she's the worst person ever, right?
Yeah. She is being held, at last check, she's still being held in the Pinellas County Jail. $25,000 bond ordered by a judge here in Pinellas to have zero contact with the victim
or with power tools.
According to the court filings in an ongoing small claims matter, Gosinski recently moved into a 3-bedroom rental home here in St. Petersburg I don't have any employment details where she works, but she was previously licensed as an esthetician here in Florida.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a contractor.
No. Or working in the tool corral at Home Depot.
Maybe she could do some prison work with the maintenance team.
Oh my God! Can you imagine screwing a 12-year-old in the left buttock with a power drill?
In her mugshot, she looks unrepentant.
Why do you sound all whispery like a mouse?
Because I don't think I was saying the word appropriately.
No, it's
Unrepentant.
it's almost like your mic has gotten lower.
Boom me up.
I am. You're
Blast
like
it
you're
out.
all the
Blast
way
it
up.
out.
Blast that Roxanne.
Pop it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a terrible story. And I don't know if that made local news. I don't know if that made Channel 8, Channel 13, Channel 28, Channel 10. I didn't see it on any of their websites. Man, that's a big story.
Am I wrong? Does she not look sorry, Fester?
I don't know if I could judge it from her mugshot, but I wouldn't strike her as a butt screwer. I mean... But she is.
She is.
I mean, as charged.
That's what happened, and just what she said she is. This is not a funny story.
Oh, you don't find any humor, and have you ever been screwed in the butt?
Well, I mean,
with an actual power drill and a screw.
Now that I have more details, I could see jokes that could be made.
Yeah. Anyway, the 12-year-old is okay, but I mean, who would drive a screw into a 12-year-old's butt? That's awful.
I mean, anytime there's a story involving a child, I think it's worth addressing, but I don't want to make too many jokes.
No.
You ready for another Florida story?
Does it involve screwing of butts?
No, it involves an idiot that got pulled over, and in the vehicle had a zippered pouch that said on the pouch, "bag of drugs."
Who buys that bag?
See, now that guy remembers where he puts his drugs. Where did I put them again? Oh, in the bag of drugs.
Yeah, you got to see. You got to see this. So take a look at the actual.
Bag.
Yeah, take a look at the actual bag.
Okay.
I saw a picture of it. Maybe click on one of the links in there to find it. So Lauren Riley was a passenger in a car that was pulled over Saturday morning, and she had a bag, a zippered, kind of like a makeup pouch,
I can picture it.
A zippered makeup pouch, and it was imprinted with bag of drugs.
Sure. You have your drugs, your paraphernalia, whatever you need.
During a traffic stop, when police looked into the vehicle, they spotted the drug paraphernalia. As soon as you see drug paraphernalia, that's probable cause to then search the vehicle. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So they looked into the bag, and this happened here in Florida. And see the actual look at the actual police report, Fester. Yeah, look right there, middle of the right there. Yeah, click on that.
All right.
Yeah, because I meant to bring up the police report to get more details on.
It's just a narrative.
Yeah, just a narrative. Did you see where it happened?
I did not find where that happened.
Yeah,
this happened also in 2020 in Pensacola. Yeah, a bag filled with drugs.
Yeah, this is here in Florida. So this is a Florida story, and it was just posted a couple of days. Yeah, yesterday it was posted. But can you imagine how easy it is for a traffic stop and you got a bag that says "bag of drugs"? So that resulted in the arrest of this Lauren Riley. And last we saw, she was locked up here in Florida. Yeah, inside the bag, according to the police report, was a needle, straws, a metal spoon, 4 glass pipes, plastic baggies with a white-colored residue. A bag inside the drugs bag had crack cocaine, powdered cocaine, crystal meth, Xanax pills.
Yeah, a bag of drugs.
And it was exactly as advertised. It was a bag of drugs.
And all the accoutrements.
Yeah, and then all of the tools and spoons and needles and exactly, a whole little drug kit. And all these, it's all felony. I'm sure.
So on Amazon.com.
Oh, that's it.
They sell.
I saw the picture of the actual bag. That's it.
They sell other ones, bag full of
Yeah,
drugs.
I believe
bag
that. No,
full
the
of drugs.
one you're looking at right there. It has pills and all kinds of bottles and stuff.
Yeah.
And it says bag full of drugs, and you can buy it on Amazon.
$14, $13.99, free shipping.
Yes, officer. You can search my bag of drugs. I only have some Lipitor. I've got some Ozempic and some Lipitor inside. So, hey, no, I'm not on Ozempic. I'm not on Mounjaro. I'm not on Wegovy.
Okay.
Yeah, remember we realized like 3 weeks ago that it's pronounced Wegovy because they have a commercial now. Wegovy. I thought it was just Wegovy, but
No.
it's Wegovy.
Yeah, they changed.
I-Govy, you-Govy.
Yeah, they changed the name
Wegovy.
for a marketing ploy. All right, what about it?
I lost about 5 or 6 pounds. Do I look a little thinner? Does my face look a little thinner? Do I sound a little thinner?
You sound like Doug. He always does that whenever he comes back from a trip. I lost weight on this vacation. Did you?
Well, I did. I stepped on the scale. I stepped on the scale this morning, and I'm down about 6 pounds from when I left.
Would you get a tapeworm or something?
No, I mean I scuba dive 4 dives a day. I did 32 dives. I did 2 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, and unless I had lunch and had dinner, but clearly my calorie intake was lower than my calorie expenditure. And I lost about 5.5, 6 pounds. And my shorts are kind of falling off me right now. Seriously.
Wow. What an active adventure trip you had.
You should invest in some suspenders.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah, so that's a good look for me.
Yeah.
I should get some suspenders with shorts.
Yeah, it keeps your pants
Yeah,
on.
that's going to be perfect for me. Anyway, so the bag of drugs. Yeah, you can buy the bag of drugs, by the way, on Amazon, as Fester just pointed out.
The bag of jugs is a cool little, joke bag as long as you don't really do illegal drugs and carry them around.
Yeah.
I have an update on something. I'm going to give you the Audio Daily Double. Are you ready for the Audio Daily Double here on the MJ Morning Show? All right, I have an item regarding an individual. I'm going to give you the Audio Daily Double hint.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to play something quickly, and I want you to tell me if you know what I am leading up to. Are you ready?
Yes, I do. It's been 7 am I right? I'm not going to.
All right,
You're nailing it was off.
Yeah.
I was way too early on that.
Yeah, that's Sinbad O'Connor.
Yeah. Cue though.
It's not that
Okay.
tough for a good DJ
So
to hear the pitch
obviously, this is a Sinead O'Connor story. You got it with just my little audio
Yep.
blip. You knew right away what it was.
Yep.
And of course, it's July 26th
Little
of
over a year.
2023. She died at the age of 56. And a death certificate registered last week in London gives us more information on the cause of death. Yeah, the Irish Independent first reported specifically that O'Connor died of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD, coupled with bronchial asthma, together with low-grade lower respiratory tract infection. That's according to the death certificate on what claimed the life of Sinead O'Connor at a way too young.
Just randomly, had never met her, and ran into her at a pub, and he
So, I think she's most famous for tearing up the picture of the Pope
on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
And you know what? Turns out she was right. She was talking about all.
$25, $30 years ago, I mean, Pauly Shore can so freaking pull off Richard Simmons. Yeah, it's the Richard Simmons biopic, which Richard Simmons, when he was alive, apparently wanted no part of it. But I saw on TMZ over the weekend that Pauly Shore is still trying to get the Richard Simmons movie made after Richard Simmons' passing just recently.
I want to see the Richard Simmons tryouts for people auditioning for his role.
Right?
It's
No,
just a bunch of curly-haired guys. Pauly Shore.
There are no tryouts. It's Pauly Shore is going to be Richard Simmons. It's not an open casting
But if they
call.
did an open casting call, all those curly-headed,
I've been in a couple of casting calls over the years, and you look at the room of people who are supposed to be like you in some way.
Exactly.
And please use the product. It's an audition. It's not a tryout.
Well, I say tryout.
It's not like you're going out for Beach Park Little League or something.
Well, what a terrible stage mom I am. I don't even know the proper term.
Pauly Shore is still trying to make the Richard Simmons biopic. He was at LAX yesterday, when a photographer asked him, what's the latest? And this is Pauly Shore's pet project, according to TMZ. And this, I don't need TMZ to tell me that. Pauly Shore really wants to make this Richard Simmons biopic. And I think part of it is that Richard Simmons, or that Pauly Shore, realizes how much he looks like Richard Simmons, that he's going to be able to sell this part beyond belief.
The thing is, Pauly Shore is an old man now.
Yeah. Pauly Shore says that he's moving forward despite Richard's recent death. He says there's a holdup in terms of financing. So Pauly says he's still trying to get a subsidiary of Warner Brothers that's developing the film to pony up several $1 million to make it. Pauly says that it can be done for $5 to $10 million. That is low for a Hollywood production. $5 to $10 million is low budget.
You don't think this movie will make $50 million?
Oh, I think it could.
Yeah, so as an investment, I could give Pauly $250.
I think it easily could.
Yes, $250.
Andrew,
what did you mean, Fester, when you said that Pauly Shore was really old?
Richard Simmons' heyday was when he was in his 30s and 40s.
Yeah, late 20s, early 30s.
Maybe into his 50s, because he died at age 76 and he's been gone for about 20 years.
Into his 40s, yeah.
Yeah, so, if you want to talk about Richard Simmons and his career and his upbringing, look at the Weird Al biopic where they had the kid from Harry Potter do it. Yeah. He was a really young kid when he got his start.
Pauly Shore is what, about 55, 56?
I don't know. I think Pauly Shore.
How old is he? 56? Yeah, Pauly Shore is 56.
I think he might be too old for the younger portion of the role.
I don't know.
That's all I was saying.
Anyway, I got some, it's kind of morbid. A well-known 80s singer, very well-known 80s singer, says his days are numbered.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's
Do we
morbid.
play him on Q105?
Yeah. So,
Really?
So 1970s into 1980s. That was his, and actually, he actually had a huge song in the early 90s. So which singer is kind of morbidly saying now, and everyone knows this name, which singer is saying that his days are numbered and he knows it? I'll tell you next. There's a new chapter in the whole Ozzy Osbourne, Britney Spears dust-up. We'll get to that next, involving an apology. Also, a Justin Timberlake update as well. Got a lot of stuff in the final segment of the MJ Morning Show. next here on Q105. Stand by. Hey, folks. I'll make a phone call here quickly. 9:30 at the MJ Morning Show. And I am not going to tell you who I'm calling. I want to see if you can guess who I'm calling just by them picking up the phone and saying hello. You want to play along, Fester?
All right, yeah.
How about you, Roxanne?
Yeah, I'm going to guess Julian.
All right, here we go.
You're going to guess his son?
Yeah.
We have to hear the hello first.
All right, here we go. See if you can guess who it is by just when they say hello.
Hello?
Oh, yeah, I know who it is.
All right, so I didn't tell them who I was calling. I just wanted to see if Fester and Roxanne can guess just by the hello.
I know exactly who it is.
Who is it?
Dennis.
It is.
Hey.
Hey there. You know what's so funny?
Oh, my God. I had no idea it was Dennis.
Yep.
Dennis, I just have to tell you a little sidebar. Friends of mine, she's run into you a couple times. I was with her one time when we ran into you at a particular place, and I am going to that place today after the show.
Where, rehab?
I'm not telling you. We're not going to say.
What can you say?
Because Dennis knows what I'm talking about,
I
right?
know this place.
Yes.
I was there a couple of days ago.
Why is it a secret?
Yeah, big deal. Was it a
I
restaurant?
don't know.
Why is it a
I don't
secret?
know, but if it's a secret to Roxanne, it's a secret to me.
It's just
What are you keeping? Dennis Phillips keeping Roxanne's secrets? Is that what we're doing?
Folks, obviously, we're listening to Dennis Phillips, Chief Meteorologist, or Mr. Suspenders, from ABC Action News. All right, so everyone's looking at the National Hurricane Center, the hatched blob of cone. And all right, so what's the deal on this thing? You got the GFS, you got the Euro model. What do people need to know about this? Like, it's not even a thing yet, is it?
Nah, it's not. I mean, there's actually two little pieces of energy, and they're going to kind of combine by Friday. It's not like the perfect storm, by the way, which was, everybody always brings that up because they saw the movie a long time ago, and they're like, oh, there were two blobs, and it turned into a giant blob. But there was something on TikTok last year. There was some guy out there saying there was two big things in the Atlantic, and it was going to turn into a giant storm the size of the Atlantic. So, it's just not. I mean, it's, the track with the Euro brings it really close to Florida by Sunday and Monday. But the question is, what is that it? And right now, it just looks just like, some rain. I think my bigger concern might be the Carolinas, not that it's necessarily going to be a bigger storm, but that it stalls out and dumps a ton of rain for South Carolina and North Carolina. So, you kind of said the two things. The GFS is still bringing it a little west, kind of as a ragged system. Now I will tell you, if it does go into the Gulf and has a chance to, move north in all that warm water for 2 or 3 days, there would be the chance that it could develop as it goes into the northern Gulf. That's what the GFS has been saying off and on for the last few days. The Euro has been all in for just east of Florida, or just kind of hugging Florida, but as a real ragged system and just kind of a rainmaker.
All right, and if I'm not mistaken, you of late, maybe the last couple of years, you've tended to favor the Euro model.
Yeah, I mean, the Euro is historically it's the most accurate model on Earth. I mean, it is. I mean, I liken it to a roll at the craps table when you're looking at these models. Sometimes they get hot, and no matter what, you just keep getting it right and right and right. And other times you just can't buy a win. And honestly, they kind of get on those rolls like that. And the Euro is more often than not the one that we kind of defer to. I mean, it's not always going to be right, of course, but when it's showing the same thing that it's been showing for the last week, and it's literally been a week that it's been showing this kind of a similar track just around, it goes into the Bahamas. So that's what a lot of people have been asking me. What would you cancel any trips? I personally wouldn't. I think even if it goes into the Bahamas, it's still going to just be kind of rainy. I mean, maybe a little gusty, but nothing terrible. I mean, it's not the greatest weather for a vacation. But people ask me, would you change my trips to Jamaica? No. Would you change your trips is Puerto Rico or Haiti or the Dominican going to get hit? No. I mean, all of those things it's just not a big deal.
I was having a trip to Haiti soon too. Well, this is good news.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me drop in on civil war in Haiti.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful this time of year, Haiti.
Exactly.
Some of the finest beaches in the world.
It's a Category 5 riot. Is what it.
I mean, there are cruise ships that go into there. Or maybe do they not even go anymore? I don't know. I know some of the cruise ships went in there and then they started canceling it. So I'm not really sure.
Yeah. I don't know if many cruises are going to Haiti these days.
The Carnival Fun Ship goes to Haiti these
Dennis,
days.
you used a craps analogy. Do you play craps?
No, I've played craps 4 times in my life, and I've lost every time. In fact, I went on a cruise. I went on that little Margaritaville at Sea cruise ship out of Tampa about a month and a half ago. And, I played one time with the guys that I went with, and within 5 minutes, I lost it all.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah, how did you play, though? I mean, you know what? I think we're going to do dinner soon. We got a little group. I think we're going to do dinner soon. We ought to go back to Council Oak, and maybe I'll show you how to play craps because the Hard Rock has craps now.
Yeah, I mean, I know how to play. I just don't know how to win.
Well,
there is the difference, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, do you do a don't pass, and then you do some.
I do the pass line. And then back it up.
You do a pass or a don't pass, then you so I play with the table. I play with the table. I don't like the folks that like bet against the table by hoping sevens come up. Yeah,
that's blasphemy.
I don't like that energy. Anyway, so I got a little system, and I'm up. I'm up big, over the lifetime. Yeah, so
I've never ever won, not a single time. So I will watch you, and but see that here what'll happen, you'll lose, and then you'll blame me, and it's probably justifiable.
Yeah.
So I don't. I'll just sit back where the little sportsbook kiosk things are and hang out back there.
Old Dennis Phillips not afraid of a friendly wager here and there.
All right, I tell you what, Dennis, if you don't mind, I'm sure we'll talk to you a couple times during the week. Is that okay?
Sounds good.
All right, awesome. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, see you guys.
Tell you, old DP's a lot more excited about sports gambling in Florida than he is the craps table.
Dennis Phillips, ABC Action News, and he's not terribly concerned about this system. However,
let's see how it looks.
He'll tell you that the Saharan dust, when it dies down, that we're about to see things heat up in the Atlantic basin as far as the systems coming off of Africa.
Because the Saharan dust keeps it all dry.
Well, that's what you want. Yeah. It just interrupts, development. And I wish we could have Sahara dust, June, July, August, September, October, November, just, so we don't have a hurricane season. All right, so I'm about to reveal to you a well-known 80s performer who says that his time is limited, that his days are numbered. Would you like to play Daily Double Audio again?
Oh, I'm 1 for 1 today. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, exactly. You got the first one. So let's do, it's time once again for the Daily Double. All right, I'm going to play just a little snip of one of this artist's songs. And let me see if you can tell which artist. It's kind of morbid. It's kind of sad. He's getting up in age. 70s and 80s, even into the early 90s. This performer. Roxanne, let's see if you can do it again. What performer with this quick little blurb?
Mick Jagger?
No, not Mick Jagger.
Wait, was that sexy?
All right, play it again. Play it again. Hold on. Are you thinking Rod Stewart?
Wait, if you want my body, do you
That's
think I'm
Rod
sexy?
Stewart.
Oh, yeah, Rod Stewart.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Rod Stewart kind of sadly says that he knows his days are numbered.
Well, he's like, how old is he?
79.
Every 79-year-old's days are numbered. That was a big song for him, and this is a big song for Rod Stewart. And then late 80s, Stewart says that he knows his days are numbered. 79 years old. He says, I'm going to enjoy myself for the last few years as much as I can. I mean, that kind of gives you a chill.
Yeah,
it's like
everybody at 79 can say this, though.
It's like he's got like the death clock counting down above his head. Yeah.
He's 79.
Yeah, Andrew said in my ear he might have health issues. I think he does. He actually, Rod Stewart, within the last couple of years, he had some, major health. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had some health crisis. Yeah, he did and of course, Maggie May is another big song. My English teacher hated that song.
Why?
Mr. Snodgrass, 12th grade. Jim Snodgrass was a great teacher.
I've heard you talk about him before.
Yeah, Jim Snodgrass was my senior year English teacher at Cox High School in Virginia Beach. And he's one of those teachers that made an impression. You have a handful of teachers that really, taught you something or you still remember all these years later. I only have a handful of teachers. And Snodgrass in Virginia Beach at Cox High School, he was one of those teachers that was just fantastic. But he hated that song, Maggie May. We were talking about songs one day, and he hated that song like poison. Anyway, so Rod Stewart says, I'm aware my days are numbered, but I've got no fear. Yeah, he's doing a Las Vegas residency right now, and it's supposed to go through February of 2025, but it's about just going into the total enjoyment phase of my life.
Okay, yeah. Are we going to get into the silly little message you posted yesterday and talk about how maybe you had that? What did I refer to it earlier when you get the poison in your head from scuba diving?
Roxanne, I did not have nitrogen narcosis. I wasn't narked. No, I mean, I took yesterday off. It was just the 1 year anniversary of me walking away from the Schnitt show. I self-canceled that show. I was tired of the politics, so I retired from that show. I was just trying to do a little funny. It was the 1 year anniversary of the retirement of the Schnitt show. I'm scuba diving and having the time of my life. And, do I think about, giving up the daily grind and just retiring? I mean, it's crossed my mind.
Yeah, but that was devastating to your listeners because especially on the heels of what we've gone through with Froggy, and then your listeners are like, what? Now MJ too? And they're devastated.
Listen,
it's a mean trick.
I was just seeing if people were paying attention to my Instagram.
You're a moron. Is what it is. It was stupid to post up because there was no context of comedy. You didn't say, "Hey, a year ago I quit the Schnitt show, and now I'm quitting the morning show." See you later, bitches.
Sometimes I do the unexpected.
No, sometimes you do the moronic.
That's what you have to say. This is what I say to my children when they do use poor judgment. But what was the upside in that? What was a good thing that was going to come from that?
Have I thought about retiring and just enjoying the rest of my,
all the more reason why that message was upsetting.
I know my days are numbered.
Okay.
I know my days are numbered.
Guess what? All of ours are.
You
I'm
and
just
Rod
gonna try to enjoy as much as I can
you and Rod
while
Stewart.
I can.
Dude, anytime.
Even though Rod Stewart is 20 plus years older than me.
Dude.
Yeah.
Anytime somebody asks me about you, and there's an opportunity to tell an MJ story,
yes, I
tell the creepy ass.
Oh, what
MJ Rod Stewart story about you holding the boy on your lap as you were what 22 years old holding a boy in an auditorium. Be glad there were no cell phones of that, dude. That is legitimately one of the creepiest, top 5 creepiest stories I've ever heard in my life, and I tell it to anybody who wants to hear it. I probably tell it wrong, but I don't care.
All right, you tell the story as you think you know it.
All right.
If you've never heard this story, let Fester see if he remembers it properly. If not, I will correct.
Hey, so you know Rod Stewart, right? The guy he sings that song Forever Young. Did you ever see the video of Forever Young?
Yeah.
The whole video is Rod Stewart. It's kind of weird.
He's riding in the back of a pickup truck on like a bale of hay.
And he's holding a 10-year-old kid.
This red-headed 10-year-old kid or an 8-year-old, 9-year-old kid.
Well, apparently MJ, back in his little young DJ days, working at some radio station in Virginia.
It wasn't some radio station.
I don't know what
it was Z104.
Okay, my story says some radio station
WNVZ, Norfolk and Newport News.
For
Hot hits.
For some reason,
Z104.
They thought it would be a good idea to have this 22-year-old radio personality come to a school auditorium for some function, and MJ goes to represent the station, and the kid from the video's there, and they play the song, and the kid sits in MJ's lap
while the whole song plays. 4-minute song. Yeah,
you're coddling an 11-year-old at this time.
Well, I'm sitting on stage.
The craziest story ever.
I'm sitting on stage at John B. Dye, DEY Elementary School on Great Neck Road in Virginia Beach, and I made an appearance, and the kid was there, and this is right when the song had come out, right near where
88 was the time of the song.
Yeah, and it was like 88 or early 89. And the kid's name I think is Alex Zuckerman. Alex Zuckerman was this kid who's got to be in his 40s now. And this kid was in the video, and he was from Virginia Beach. And I don't know what the deal was, but it was an appearance, and the kid was there and they said, "Hey, we'll just have him sit on your lap while we play the song to like reenact the video of Rod Stewart with the kid."
How do you not say no instantly to that? No, I'm not going to hold this kid. Yeah.
38 years later or whatever it is.
Poor kid.
Cringe.
The kid is, how old is he, 42? The kid is 42 years old today.
We always talk about a reunion between you guys. That'd
be great.
I'd love to get a hold of the kid and say, hey.
The grown-ass man, you mean, the 42-year-old.
Alex, hey, it's MJ from Z104 Radio in Virginia Beach. Do you remember sitting on my lap at an elementary school on stage in the cafeteria while Forever Young played? Oh, man. I wonder where Alex Zuckerman is today.
I wish him nothing but the best.
Yeah. We talked about this some time ago. We ought to track the kid down and get him on. We were never successful with that.
Apparently,
yeah.
Patterson from Channel 8. He'll be doing an interview with someone.
There you go. Hey, do you remember that creepy deal where you sat on MJ's lap? And please, MJ and then Michael Jackson, please don't draw a correlation here. All right, hey, before we get out of here, one new little chapter here with the whole Britney Spears deal. So Ozzy Osbourne is apologizing to Britney Spears. Here's the original. Let me play the original audio bite. And this was Ozzy during their podcast saying that, Britney Spears is just jumping around.
I'm fed up of seeing poor old Britney Spears on YouTube.
Dancing.
Every day.
Save Britney.
I know. I feel so sorry.
It's sad.
Poor little
very,
thing.
very sad.
Yeah. Very sad indeed.
It's heartbreaking.
It is.
On her Instagram videos. So that's the latest with the I'm sure Britney's gonna respond.
I really owe you an apology. I'm so sorry for making a comment. However, it would be better if you didn't do the same dance every day. Change a few movements.
Change a few movements. We gotta roll. I had a Justin Timberlake thing. I'll get to that tomorrow. Got a lot of stuff already for tomorrow I didn't get to today. Folks, have a great day. It is 9:49 at the MJ Morning Show. Great to be back from vacation. And, yeah, I'm thinking about it. I thought about it.
Stop it. Shut up.
I have seriously thought
Tell us
about
when
it.
you're serious and otherwise keep it to yourself.
All right, 9:49. We'll see you back here tomorrow on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. And let's be careful out there.